Every single Korea team member is sitting in the library around a table plotting their next move.
And on top of this, guys, you might have noticed we are not doing a coin flip. So being the perk of coming through the winner's bracket,
yes,
Thailand will receive side selection for the first 2 games of the best of 7, which is very important because really, red side, they only get 1 ban.
And that is very important for, I think, the entire Korean side, because like Thailand were saying, they feel they can exploit that limited hero pool that Korea has played thus far. However, I kind of disagree with them. We have several characters that we've been looking for.
Natalia.
Yeah, to come out from the Korean side ever since they were shown off, and shown off very powerfully once or twice, that we just flat out have not seen here on stage.
Well, let's go ahead and get into our pick and ban for game 1. Thailand on your blue side, Korea on the red side. Thailand actually starting things off with the Omen ban. Obviously for Korea, they're forced to ban out the Superman on red side.
The Omen is a very, very good ban against Korea. Thailand, as we saw yesterday, they're very, very good in team fights. They like to prioritize control characters. That means characters that can win them team fights just because they have stuns, knockups, or pulls in the case of one favorite boy called Grak.
Thailand. Second ban coming on through. Going to be the Zenyo, so not going to have that global pressure available. Going on that split lane for Sun to then rejoin the fights with the shielding. So not going to have that available, but still, I know we talk about limited hero pools, TJ. But, you know, we haven't seen some of them pop up yet. We've done our research, and one that hasn't made it through for Korea, and I want to see Sun play it. I hope he brings it out during this final, is the Tara.
Yeah, the Tara is so good for him. The reason that Zenial is so powerful is because Sun likes to build tanky play, separated from the rest of the team, as Korea loves to do, have these roaming groups and occasionally roaming individuals, constantly finding pressure, coordinated, but separated while being coordinated.
Now, I kind of like this from Thailand. This is a bit of a respect ban, because Hawk just had a beautiful performance on the Flash.
Yeah, and Memarks as well has been playing quite well on the Flash, so that is definitely taking away from Thailand. If they could lock in that Flash on themselves, they're not willing to take that gamble. They're not willing to be in a situation where it could go to either team. Hawk, left to his own devices, typically tends to go for more static mages because he knows he has the team that can set him up for major picks.
Now, for Korea, unfortunately, they're having to ban out the Aram, and this leaves up the Lindis immediately available for Thailand for the first pick.
You do not give Lindis over to Korea for a very good reason. That very good reason is named Rush.
Yeah, Rush during the quarterfinals. I believe he had somewhere in the realm of a 22 KDA.
Oh my God.
And I believe 2 of those games were on the Lindis. He can still play the Violet if needed, but guess what? Has made it through the ban for, it's been a while since we've seen a teamie.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The teamie coming through will be locked in by J-Jack, I assume. I would be astonished if nobody took advantage of that major slip-up.
This is actually something Thailand did during the group stage. They actually messed up their bans on blue side and let the teamie through. So is this them being confident enough to play into the teamie?
Well, one of the things with Thailand is they do tend to very obviously counter-strap their opponents. We saw them intentionally let some characters through versus Korea, the Aram yesterday. The reason they let the Aram through was because they felt J-Jack would have to pick it up, and they felt they could play versus an Aram. So it may very well be the same calculus. You know that J-Jack has to lock in the teamie first pick, and this allows you to play further into the draft, knowing what your opponent's draft basically has to be.
And this is already a great setup for Rush, no matter what he picks. It's going to be likely the Violet oftentimes is what we see coming out of the jungle, especially with the Chagnar, and now that teamie for the Resurrection. Meanwhile, though, for Thailand, already picking up the front line, going for this a bit of dive with the Malak, and also picking up the Crixie for Memarks.
And that's very good for them as well. They've already got a ton of damage, and for a team that's so good at team fights, seeing them build such a good team fight composition is terrifying. I'd like to talk, though, about what Korea has so far, because assuming that Chagnar is not being played on J-Jack, it's going to be run on one of their 2 split lanes, Sun or Chaser. We've seen Sun not look great when he's required to stay with the team because that's simply not how he plays at his best. And Chaser, in that last set and the first set of the other day, looked so good himself, I feel it would be sad to see him forced onto a more defensive character.
Well, one of them is going to have to play. Chaser in the last series showed up. This is what allowed them to get into this grand final. Kilroth, though, that could be something for Sun that we haven't seen too often. It's going to get locked in.
Chaser and Sun play interchangeably. So we don't yet know who's got which character, but that is, of course, the crux of the Korean strategy, this constant pressure across the map, oftentimes coming from their 2 side lane players, Chaser and Sun.
And on top of that, like we highlighted, Violet getting locked in for Rush, so going to have a lot of tower damage and have a lot of safety for the team. But speaking of safety for Thailand, this Alice has made it through all the way to the last pick.
Yeah, and that's not something we would have seen when we came into the World Cup. Priorities have shifted. The Alice isn't as effective versus this Korea composition because they have a Chargnar and a Kilgroth, both of which negate control abilities, and thus will be able to dive through the Hissy Fit. But it is still a very lethal combo, particularly for Thailand, who excel so much at setting up and shutting down team fights.
Yeah, Alice going to get locked in along with the Irie. And that one's a little bit concerning too because
it's coming through.
Oh no, this has been the secret of Korea. They pulled this out twice already, and for Hawk would be a nice addition. Really, they have no AoE. That or the Liliana. We haven't seen his Liliana for quite a while.
I really like the Natalia. Whenever we see it, it just starts one-shotting people at about the halfway point.
But most of the time we see it paired with the Grak when it actually has success. And with that off the table, I feel like there isn't a setup to help allow for that Wombo combo we've seen before.
Yeah, this is an entire mage pool open. Of them, Vera is not considered meta. If this is locked in, Korea are doing something exciting again.
They have hovered this a couple times. And I know we talked during the North American series, sometimes, you know, they like to have fun. Okay. So the Scud getting locked in.
So that's no mage currently over on the Korean side. Arguably, you have decent magic damage coming through from Chargnar. But to be frank, I think that's a mistake.
Right now, they're pretty much putting all their cards on Rush and Sun to carry this into the later part of the game. But we saw yesterday, when Thailand hits the 10-minute mark, Korea can't go past the base. They can't push out anymore.
Sorry, I'm more perplexed than ever because it appears that Hawk, their mid player, is currently running the teamie, typically support.
And you heard during the interview, they went back, looked at the VODs. They tried to analyze what would it take to beat Thailand. Is this the secret? Are you going to pull this out in game one? Try a new strategy and try and get Thailand, you know, off guard.
Okay, what I'm seeing, here's I don't have nearly as much IQ as the Korean team, but if I had to guess, I would say that what they want to do is play constantly aggressive on many of their characters right now. Teaming, Chargnar, Scud, every single one of them, Kilgroth included, can play separate from a team. So what you can do with this is really get into the jungle of Team Thailand, pressure against 07, pressure against the players that need to get built up.
My only concern with that, though, TJ, is when Korea tried that strategy yesterday, Thailand were actually able to hold the guard when it came to the river. They were able to push back Korea during the invades, because that was one of their highlights. We often expected Thailand to fall purely based off Korea's jungle pressure, because they go in, invade onto 007, and he kind of looks weak when he's, you know, targeted early.
Yeah, when 007 has been shut down both throughout the boot camp and the group stage, it has been a pressure point where you can shut down Thailand. However, like you said, that did not work yesterday.
Well, you guys saw it, the trophy these players are going for. It's game one between Thailand and Korea.
And already Thailand are playing aggressive. Is this a repeat of yesterday? Are they going to be able to secure their jungle early?
Korea going to answer immediately back onto the Sage Golem. So a pretty safe start from both sides, both not going to go in and collide up toward that topside river. That's actually something we saw, I believe, during game 2 of the series yesterday, where it was a little bit of a change up here, where Thailand actually invaded toward the top side of the map and then tried to collapse back onto Korea. Rush already coming in toward the mid lane, just going to look to try and soak up some of the minions. Maybe this is the idea. You're trying to funnel gold onto the Violet, allow him to farm up.
Look at JJ. He's just living there. So JJ constantly playing kind of a roam position on this Chargnar will allow them to have a little bit more understanding of where Thailand are on the map. This gives Korea a little bit better map control. They can then secure their jungle and, like you say, maybe focus it on over to Rush. However, there are a lot of maybes in that analysis.
We'll just see. Hawk is staying right next to Rush right now while he's going through the jungle, and J-Jack's actually holding the wave when it hit mid lane on the last rotation, and they put it onto Rush, so it really feels like they're putting all their cards onto this late game Violet to help carry them, or try and excel the gold so that she can start carrying earlier on into that mid game.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to say late game in terms of Korea, because when they excel, it's when they're winning at or around the 10-minute mark. If you don't see them in dominant control of the game by the 7-minute mark, they may lose then and there.
007 flicker on forward from Hawk. The stun's gonna land. Rush wants the kill, and first blood goes to Korea in the grand final.
J-Jack will narrowly get out, but Hawk once more. He'll poke further forward, stun up with the Pooty Poots, and then retreat.
I'm liking this though. Hawk adjusting his play style, going to the support style of role, going for the roams. Let's take another look at 007, how he got caught.
You could see the stun from the team. He opens things up. J-Jack's there to take the brunt of the damage from the other two Thailand team members, and then the rest of the team, notably Rush's early damage comes through.
This is something though that we did see in the series yesterday. Oftentimes Korea would find an early kill or two, get themselves 1,000 to a 2,000 gold lead, but then it would start to fall apart. So far on the right foot, but they got to keep the pressure going.
So notably what's different is that Korea seem to have full control of their own jungle, and that gives them the farm they were missing. This first major objective will be kind of decisive for me, because if Thailand pick it up, they undo everything that was just done and indeed take the lead. If Korea pick it up, they double down on that gold lead and have a good start to their famous momentum swings.
And that's something we actually saw during Game 3. I believe it was Thailand that had 7 Abyssal Dragons. Sure, it was a long game, but they were able to get the pressure, get the momentum, and get the control on the map around this objective. You do see Korea trying to contest here. It's only J-Jack. He would have to steal it away, but 007 going to put down the punish. Thailand's able to even out the goal.
And that brings the gold closer to Thailand's favor, like you say. Here's the shock.
Is separated from his team. The damage comes on through, and the last auto comes on through. That's going to be the being a bro. Can Korea turn the fight? But look at the health bars, TJ. Hawk is so low. J-Jack is going away, but here comes Chaser on the Scud. Memarks will pick up the kill onto Hawk, but they're able to trade on back. Here comes Sun, all the way from the top lane, coming through the river. They're going to trade 1 for 1.
What on earth was that from Korea? That was one of the best adapted team fights I've ever seen from them, and they nearly get Memarks as well. Just shutting down the Lindis this early on is massive. They'll get a tower as well.
This is a key tower too, because once you've opened up the mid lane tower, especially on this map, because it's, you know, it's a small map, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to go for a roam. You open up all this map control for Korea, and that's what they excel at.
And that's what Korea need to, or rather Thailand need to start worrying about from Korea, is the fact that now Korea has the beginnings of map control. They'll start doing this, bullying out even your small jungle camps. And that's why J-Jack switching over to this Chocner is working a little bit better than I expected, because it gives them an extra man with a little bit of HP who can stand around in the jungle, roam aggressively.
And you can actually just have this trio go as a unit for these invades. If you're able to catch out this Linda, slow down 007 and his scaling, it shuts down Thailand. Still see him though playing safer toward the bot side of the map, has fallen 2 times. He's been the main target for Korea, and I like the target selection coming out during the fights.
I have a game I play. It's called 7 Minutes. Are Korea winning or not? And if Korea don't speed up the pace, we're going to be playing the game where we go to the late game against Thailand, and that's not a very fun game if you're facing them.
Shock comes on through from Thailand, just looking to zone out the wave, also putting down the Alice ultimate, but Abyssal Dragon has spawned. Those are 2 big ultimates you would love to have during a team fight. 4v4, who's going to go for the fight? Looks like Korea wants to start things off. Rush onto the side, is able to get damage. He gets knocked up, has to flicker away. J-Jack now a little bit low himself. Cherry will fall. Hawk is able to pick up the kill. Rush wants the extra hit onto 007. He won't be able to find it, but Korea now have the man advantage. They could go for this Abyssal Dragon.
They should go for this Abyssal Dragon, but Korea are always a tower-focused team. They want this tower first and foremost because it gives them map control with which they hope to pick up every next Abyssal Dragon.
And now that's a 3,000 gold lead for Korea. Going to add a little bit more with their first Abyssal Dragon of Game 1. So far, so good, it would seem, adapting to the playstyle of Thailand.
007 is playing aggro in response, and this is the right answer from Thailand. If they're starting to feel comfortable in their own jungle, do what worked yesterday. Gain control, start starving out the gold from key members like Rush, and maybe get your characters a little bit out ahead, particularly 007 and Memarks.
Yeah, for Rush, though. Over toward the side, gonna go ahead and pick up his Might Golem. Sun sitting right now at 4K. Been slowly farming up. He tried to come on down for a fight, wasn't able to find an assist, but this Kilgroth is slowly gonna start scaling, and that split lane pressure is usually key for Korea. Remix wants to go for the fight as he gets put on down by Moss as just a safety precaution. They do not want to go for a fight against Korea.
No, and I wouldn't either if I was this far behind from Thailand. They play best well past the 10-minute mark, and I said 7 minutes. Are for Korea winning, they're continuing to push forward and indeed threaten these towers.
That's now the third tower of the game. All outer towers are taken. J-Jack over toward the side, has to be careful. Is able to escape through the river, but that is going to be a man effectively down for Korea. That's going to force them to have to back off toward the top side.
Okay. Korea, in the past, a few times, maybe a few too many times, has been burned by Dark Slayer control. I don't want to call anything out, but watch how Thailand play around this Slayer and how Korea sometimes expose themselves to these major objectives getting stolen away simply because they put far more priority over on towers. For me, that's the most likely way Thailand gets back in this game.
Well, you even saw there, you had the Kilgoroth, you had the Violet. On top of that, the teamie also around that Dark Slayer. They could have actually started it up, but Thailand was a little too far away, and even then they didn't have the vision, they didn't have the knowledge that was happening. Hawk has to be a little bit careful here. That's going to be Al's ultimate going on down. Being a bro is going to be popped. He's going to have the resurrection. Moonfall coming on through. Shock not going to fully commit. And 007 has to be careful. That was a lot of damage coming on down, even in a 3v4. Make it a 5v3. Chaser now onto the side flank. This is what we have prided him on, for his scud play. Korea, though, gonna back off.
Meanwhile, Sun is just chipping away in the top lane, and that's what he does. Thailand are playing a very dangerous game. Should even one of them fall, Korea will feel confident enough to get that Dark Slayer, the nail in the coffin.
This is starting to get a little bit scary, TJ, because you can see the damage that Rush can do, and just taking down Moss as it falls. Korea now starting to surge ahead over 7,000 gold at 8.5 minutes.
And Korea will get this pressure on every single lane. We said 10-minute mark is when Korea plays their best AOV. We're nearing it now, and they're nearing the base.
Want to try and get onto this high ground tower. You can just see if Rush is able just to get one auto attack onto that tower, it hits almost half health. And this is different from what we saw during the series yesterday, TJ, because oftentimes Korea were able to find themselves some towers, they were able to find some kills, but the gold was still pretty close. This time they have really opened up their gold lead, and you can start to see them exerting the pressure.
And that's because of that Chugnon change-up. The fact that Korea had an extra jungle player allowed them to constantly maintain their own line around the jungle river and never gave Thailand the chance to do what they did in the series yesterday, which was control the Korean jungle.
Yeah, and it was long series yesterday during our finals. You can see there Cherry was farming up a storm with the gold, 10.5K, but still has to go against Korea, which right now are pretty much sitting at that advantage here in game one of the grand final. Rush going to rotate on over 4 members of Korea going up toward the top side. J-Jack gets caught out. That's going to be the Being a Bro coming back for the resurrection. Memark's Moonfall is not going to be available. 4v5 in top side. J-Jack has to be careful. Meanwhile, though, bot lane, you still have Sun exerting pressure and stealing jungle.
We said, Thailand, did you intend to play against the teamie? If they did, it was an error because it saved Korea so many times. I don't think they're going for Dark Slayer. I think they're just poking, trying to force a commit from Thailand, but it does beg the question. You had the opportunity, you had the time there to pick up Slayer. Any of these times when Korea has managed to find 1 or 2 kills, they should have coupled it through to it. And frankly, the fact that Korea are playing a little bit passive, playing a little bit more slow, is really starting to worry me.
Yeah, especially because you saw how much damage Rush was just doing there. He's actually 4K gold ahead of 007. He has about an item and a half on top of the opposing jungle. Honestly, Korea, they just got to play around Rush. They got to force these fights because I feel like they can.
I feel like they should be forcing these fights. Sun is doing so.
Yeah, you see Sun down there. Remix has to get out of there, but it's going to be not enough as he gets taken on down. Mimarks came on over to the side with the Moonfall, but it wasn't enough. Chaser up toward the top side, pushing in the minions. It's going to be a 5v4. Shock is just going to be laid down to clear out the way, but Cherry will fall. Rush will pick up the kill.
And now Korea, this is where I start begging, please turn this into a Dark Slayer. I know you have Wave and they're so tempted to go for it, but you have a Lindis against you as well as a Crazy. This is a very good clear.
They're just gonna go for the dive, TJ. Memark's going down extremely low. Chaser picked up the kill. Minions start to fall on through. And the grand final's gonna start off with a victory for Korea.
Beautifully done. They didn't need my advice. They were just going straight for the game, and I underestimated Russia's tower damage, as I think did Thailand.
You see Thailand there, well, shell-shocked after sweeping Korea yesterday during the winners final. Korea, you see the morale. Long meeting overnight, paid off, and they're looking to fulfill that prophecy of going for a 4-0 reverse sweep here in the grand final. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats.
I am looking at the stats, and I'm seeing a big line of zeros. Thailand, 1 kill away, and that 1 kill came on me, Marks.
And even then, look at your gold. You had so much funneled onto Rush, and even there, the damage shows 37.5%. Mimarks, he tried his best on the side of Thailand, but it just felt like Korea. They've changed up their playstyle. They're going aggressive after finding the picks and taking the objectives.
And it was a shift. It was, we wondered what was that meeting about. I think it was looking at yesterday, where did we lose? And it was that Thailand pressed into the Korean jungle and managed to constantly force their key players like Rush to be under farm. With the swap up, we were very confused by it, over to a no-mage composition, putting all of your damage hopes on Rush for the ranged attacks, and then having a little bit more tanky pressure throughout the entire map. Korea are looking really, really good.
And this is great adaptation because this is something we saw during the group stage that worried us. Korea, they're a very headstrong team. They like to play what they want to play. Oftentimes, they won't even care about what the enemy is picking. They just want to pick the comp and they'll run through it. Now, after being defeated by Thailand in our winners final, coming back into the grand final, taking game 1, and look at that game time. That is a key factor for me because Korea, they often want to try and finish out their games between the 10 and 13-minute mark.
I started to introduce it. My game is 7 minutes. If Korea are dominantly in control at the 7-minute mark, they will win the game. If Korea are in a tie game at the 7-minute mark, they will probably lose. And it's an odd calculus to make, but we saw yesterday so many games from Thailand, Korea came so close, and Korea just don't really seem comfortable in the late game when it all becomes about team fights. They're much more comfortable when their map control and their constant clever play around all the towers can be major and change the course of the entire match.
All right, Thailand still have blue side here into game 2. Gonna go ahead, ban out the Omen. Gotta ask, you know, is there gonna be any change-ups here during the draft? I don't feel like he can let go of that teamie.
No,
on the blue side.
If they let go of the teamie, then they let something through, and I don't know that they're comfortable with that. With the first pick, they can keep Lindis. They can hold on to that all-important Lindis, because once again, that's a devastating pick to give to Rush, particularly after that last performance last game. But my theory is, and Thailand, you'd have to be insane to go for this because you're relying on Korea to ban out sensible picks. What if you ban Lindis, pick Violet?
It's a possibility. It would force Rush onto the Slims, because that's oftentimes what he falls back onto. Could maybe pick out the Fennec if he wanted to go for it too, but that usually forces him onto something that's looking to set up plays, not the hyper damage carry we're used to.
And that looks so good for Thailand in my mind because they're finally able to not be constantly taking big hits from the backline.
Well, bans are looking to be the same here, TJ, as Thailand going to ban out the Omen, the Zenial, and the Flash. Meanwhile, for Korea, might as well just be the same here. They haven't banned out the Superman. I'm going to assume that's their plan.
Look at that Aram Grak combo. I really like this from Korea. They're always consistently, regularly banning out control characters versus Thailand. That's because, yes, sure, maybe you get the Grak. J-Jack's a very good Grak player. Nobody is better at utilizing control characters mid-team fight than Thailand.
Final ban coming on through for Korea.
Superman's
going
in the
to
field.
be the Lindis.
Superman is in the field, as is Teamy. Thailand can choose one.
Oh, this is Korea playing dirty, it would seem. They say, Thailand, what do you want to give up? You want to give up that Superman? You want to give up that Teamy?
This would be the first time on the stage the Superman has been picked. He has a 100% ban rate, I think.
Yeah, at least in the semis.
In the playoffs, in the group stage, he was played twice and won both those games. It would be insane of Thailand not to first pick Superman.
Thailand gonna go ahead, lock in the Superman. So our first Superman on the World Cup playoff stage. Going to be locked in here for Thailand. Now Korea, they got the option for the Teamy. What else do they want to go for? The Violet?
Teamy, and then you need something to shut down the Superman. You've created a monster, Korea.
But here's the issue now, right now. Yeah, exactly, because Thailand are the ones that banned out the Omen.
Thailand are the ones that just banned out all the control characters, which makes it very difficult to deal with Superman, because the number one way you deal with Superman is you slow him down, stun him up, and they don't have a whole lot to do that with. Yes, you pick Teamy, obviously. What comes next? I guess I'd like to see something high mobility. something that can pressure the backline?
They just want to get
because they
Rush on
banned
Violet.
Lindis.
Exactly.
Because they banned Lindis, they actually screwed themselves. Because they can't actually pick something directly to counter the Superman. Instead, they have to get the Violet.
And then immediately Thailand going to go ahead, pick up the safety of that Chugnar, because now Rush won't have that to soak up the CC.
Yeah, and Chagnar's a pretty decent play into Superman as well, because you have that long-range energy surge with a decent slow on it. They're going to go... Thailand.
Jeez.
This is a good comp.
Already picking up the kill, Groth. Now Korea, what do you try and answer here?
Prayers. You answer prayers at this
feels
point.
like a bluff that got called here by Thailand.
Yeah, Korea was like, you have to pick TV after that last game. And Thailand said, no, I think we'll get Superman, the most powerful character in the game. Yes, please.
Okay, this would be a lot of safety here, TJ. This is a lot of stuns, a lot of engage coming out here from Korea if they pick in this Alice too.
So the big thing about Superman, when I say the most powerful character in the game, yes, he does a decent amount of damage. He's very, very powerful in and of his own right. But the #1 most harmful thing about Superman is that you need to build your entire team composition and your entire team playstyle around being aware of the Superman. So you need to pick up things that you know can deal with it, and that to me shifts Korea off of their optimal playstyle.
Well, for Korea, gonna go ahead.
Do they have a mage?
They don't have a mage yet, TJ. They're going for the Scud and the Alice once again here for Thailand. Now looking for their final picks. What do you want to try and round out this comp with? I feel like 007, he could go on something like the Slims to try and force plays.
I want to see Thailand go for a big damage mage to round out this composition, because you have a lot of control in the Superman. You can push people back into big AoE ults like Moonfall.
Yeah, honestly, there isn't a whole lot of dive coming out from Korea, to be honest. There isn't a front line yet.
Static mage, just like I was saying, not quite Crixie. Praetor, though, it operates in much the same way. If you can group up your opponents with the Superman, you can knock them down with a Praetor.
Well, Crixie is still available, but the Praetor is going to be the answer here for Thailand, as that's going to round out their composition for Korea. Still no mage being picked up. It worked in the first game.
Oh, surely not.
No.
Oh, surely not. Not in the grand finals.
It did work once during the group stage, TJ, so it's not out of the question, but I would still question it greatly.
It did work. They're checking out talents.
Oh,
this is going through. Okay, let me explain the Omega, which is a sentence I didn't think I'd say today. The reason you pick Omega here for Korea is because your one hope is to end this game so quickly the Superman is never relevant. If you can do that, you win before you have to really deal with them. The way you do that is you pick frontline characters that can burn through a tower.
Yes.
Omega with Disrupt would do that.
Do it, son. I want to see this Tara. We've been talking about it all series long, all playoffs, the entire tournament. And we finally get to see it in Game 2 of our grand final.
Okay, I was just adjusting to the Omega, but that's good because my gag reflex has reset. Now we have a Tara, and Sun is very good on the Tara, and it also works versus the Superman. Decent mobility. The Colossal Smash will allow her to dive onto the Superman with a slow. Most importantly, though, Sun's Tara, particularly, can build up a ton of HP. It's going to be very hard for even the Superman, until we get to the late game, to burn through it.
We see their coach is going to go ahead, shake hands. Our compositions are locked in for Game 2, Korea. We're able to pick up Game 1, but now the question is this bluff going to come back and hurt them? After letting the Superman through the draft, Thailand now have it at their disposal.
This would be, if Cherry loses on Superman here, this would be the first time we've seen a Superman lose a game in the Arena of Valor World Cup.
And there's a reason why he's 100% pick or ban. Teams are scared of this pick. Just the mobility, the ability to dive in and also still be tanky. Honestly, when we talk about Superman, usually we can check mark almost every role in the game because he can fulfill it. The crowd here is ready for Game 2. TJ, are you?
Yes, I am so ready. Cherry on the Superman, it is your turn to take this team, Thailand, to tie up the set. Korea, if you want to answer, it needs to be either lightning fast or brutally effective in the opponent's jungle the entire game. The only way you make this happen is if you're able to stop that Superman from ever getting farmed.
Well, trophies on the stage. We're going to go ahead, load on in for Game 2 between Thailand and Korea. Korea with the advantage, 1-0 in the series.
Already, look at how split Thailand are playing across the map. They're taking advantage of the fact that they can push through this top side and really leverage the Superman to zoom across the map and rejoin them should things get dangerous.
And maybe even target Sun immediately, because Sun on this Tara, if he is left alone, like you mentioned, will scale, will become unkillable. And already a successful invade coming out from Thailand, Korea will answer.
Korea just trading jungle so far. Nothing out of the ordinary for an early phase of the game. What is different is the fact that this mage is playing awfully defensively. This is because Praetor's a relatively static mage. He can't really join the attack squad until they know where the Korean team is. The Superman has collected them. Cherry has vision on 3 members. He can play aggro, push the lane a bit, comfortable. There won't be an instant flank on his static, lower HP character.
Usually your plan for the Praetor during the lane phase or the early game, you're just looking to clear out minions, look to just farm up that gold so you can slowly look to scale up, or maybe even look for a fight. J-Jack's gonna check out the bush there, has to use the shield. He's taken down extremely low. J-Jack gonna get stunned. Heal comes on back. Moss still leading this front line. Remix coming on over toward the side. Korea, though, get to the safety of the tower.
Korea successfully able to back off. That was the one fight without the teamy ultimate. From here on in, Korea will likely have a resurrection, and we saw how powerful that was every single fight last game because so many of Thailand's picks were just instantly shut down.
Saw Cherry down there with the Superman. We'll have to wait and see how much of an impact he can make. Chaser so far doing so well into the matchup.
Remix will be playing carefully because they know they want this Spirit Sentinel. J-Jack's nearby as well. Sun's rotating down.
Yeah, you see, though, down onto the mini-map toward that Abyssal Dragon. It's going to be started up here by Korea, already prioritizing the objective. Want to try and get the gold funneling in onto Rush.
That's odd for Korea. Normally, they're very, very focused on tower control. This is definitely a game plan that is shifted according to the draft phase. Korea want to get their gold out ahead early so that Superman isn't quite so terrifying in the mid-game.
Yeah, there's been a big shift, TJ. Superman is being played in our grand final.
You're not wrong.
I'm not wrong when I say this was not expected. I am, though, very happy that we will get to see Sun on the Tara. I want to see him become that late-game monster. I know, TJ, we talked about it briefly during yesterday's match, how it can be a little bit out of control, can become unkillable during the late game.
Yeah, we've been hyping up Sun, and I sure hope he gets to show off his Tara build, because it would be silly if he didn't. When he gets to the late game, if this game goes long, you can expect to see him easily taking 1v3s and maybe not winning them with damage, but definitely staying alive throughout them. That's because Tara specializes in regenerative abilities. He constantly has the ability to regain HP.
And on top of that, it kind of acts as a safety net here for Korea, because if the game does go long, they will be able to try and answer back with Sun on the split lane. You did see the stats, though, there for the Superman. 100% picker ban has been in every single draft so far during the tournament, though it's starting to get beat around here by Chaser. Is it going to keep getting knocked out?
Broke. Sorry. Deep breath. When you're able to play a good Superman, it's all on the resets. If you can constantly get back into flight mode like Cherry just did, you get a little taste of why it's so dangerous to play against in late. You're just pushed around.
Remix has to be careful there. Try to go toe-to-toe with Sun up toward the top side of the map, but has to back off. You see Korea, though, looking to position themselves. J-Jack actually putting down the ultimate. The fact there actually hasn't been a kill yet this game, TJ, is a little surprising for me.
Korea normally would have pressured the tower by now. They're definitely playing much slower.
I see right now for Remix sitting at a pretty nice KDA stand on the Kilgroth, but he has to perform well here, and he has to go toe-to-toe with Sun. Look at Thailand, though. Looking for this Abyssal Dragon. Moss is just looking to try and scout it out. Korea has an idea that this is happening. Rush already level 7. The Abyssal Dragon going to be backed off here by Thailand.
Sun and Remix still with their Eternal duel in the top lane. Sun's going to start burning through damage here if he can get his regen up in time. There it is.
Remix, got to be careful. Gets back underneath the tower, but this is pretty much the story that we're going to see until that Kilgroth gets to the very late game. Still, though, Korea positioning themselves toward this Abyssal Dragon. See Thailand, they want to try and find something on the map, but they have slowly been losing out on farm. Look at the goal total already from Korea. That's 2,000 without taking a single objective minus the Abyssal Dragon.
This is, dare I say, a very Chinese style of play. A very, very defensive farm for Korea. They want to get their gold up very high before they feel safe taking any of these team fights. And it's not silly, it's very smart considering their opposition.
Chaser gets back down toward this outer tier tower. Look at top side though. Korea might be looking for a play, trying to dive on toward the top side of the map. Remix has to back off completely, and first tower of game 2 goes to Korea.
Pressure will shift now towards the mid lane. Korea got that uncontested and they want more. Thailand will play aggro now, but look at the flag.
Chaser gets onto the backside. Minmarks has to be careful on that Preta. Tries to get some damage back and he gets rushed. He rolled actually into that one in mid lane. Has to be careful with his positioning. Hawk though doesn't want to stop there. Wants to go for the play. Gets on top of AWC. Korea invading into the jungle.
Cherry hasn't been able to get his build up, but now he's got a flag.
That's going to be the Being a Pro pop there, but it times out. First blood goes to Thailand.
Beautifully done by Thailand to eke their way back into this series. They are still, however, at a gold deficit.
Sun toward that mid lane, trying to bring attention away from the tower. One minion stands. Sun has to be careful, has the regen ticking, so we'll be able to get back up toward that top lane. Cherry, be a bit careful there on the Superman.
Chaser, what are you doing?
Chaser, he's just going to try and go for him. Gets him underneath the second tier tower. But that's going to allow Chaser to get some damage here onto the bot lane first tier.
Not just some damage, half its HP. Moss and Minmarks need to shut this down.
Now that's actually 3 members of Thailand. What does Korea answer for? Chaser's going to fall. Second kill of the game goes to Thailand. But you see, Korea position themselves into that mid lane. But they got to make something happen here because they're going to lose this first tier tower and bot.
They're going to push mid during this time. They want to answer back, but Cherry's holding strong.
Of the Superman can hold off a push from 3 members, also has support. And Thailand now starting to eke their way back into this gold lead of Korea. Also going to go ahead and pick up their first Abyssal Dragon.
In your hubris, Korea, have you accidentally allowed the Superman through and Thailand back into this grand final?
We'll have to see. Thailand going to go ahead, pick up the Abyssal Dragon. Now the gold within 1,000. Have slowly worked their way back so far. Still a pretty calm game. 7.5 minutes, only 2 kills, but you can still see the damage from Minmarks. If Korea is not careful with their positioning, and Sun now is starting to struggle in this matchup.
Yeah, you can see Remix is starting to get his build through, and especially for Remix, if he's able to gain gold and build an anti-heal build, he'll start dominantly winning this fight.
But this is just the confidence of Sun. Pops the regen, goes for the fight underneath the tower. Look toward the bot side of the map though. Korea grouping up as 4. They want Cherry, they want this bot lane tower.
They say we can't ban you in the draft, how about in game?
Instead, fortunately, Korea not going to keep on the pressure. Waiting for this minion wave has given Thailand time to try and react. Flying Spare connects onto Rush. He's stunned up, but there's no follow-up just yet. Minmarks over toward the side, tries to get some damage, is able to chunk down J-Jack. Korea, though, looking for a disengage. Do they want to try and go for the re-engage? Look at this. Sun now in toward the mid lane. They're trying to pressure the side lanes.
So this has become a game of team fights, and for Korea, I think that's devastating. They need to get this game back to a point where they're able to control the map and farm because of it. As long as we're in team fight territory, Thailand reigns supreme.
Gets caught out by the Flying Spare. Hawk's gonna go down with the Being a Pro activated. Will be able to flicker out of harm's way. But Thailand, that's a big ultimate to get down. Cherry has to be careful, is able to save himself into toward the jungle. But look at this, Korea looking to knock down this mid lane tower. Still can't get past Minmarks though.
But they're taking more control of the jungle. They're trying to gain control of this Abyssal Dragon, maintain the gold lead they currently so narrowly hold on to on the Korean side.
That's going to be the second tower of the game going in favor for Korea. Still though, dead even on the gold totals. It's just 2 kills for Thailand, and we're starting to hit close to that 10-minute mark, TJ. It's starting to get concerning for Korea.
I said, are Korea winning at 7 minutes? The answer this time is no, and that makes this a very even game indeed.
Looking for the push here. Rush will knock down that tower mid lane. They got themselves every outer tier tower against Thailand. Sun still on that tower up toward the top side. Remix has to be careful, or is he going to go for a flank?
He knows so much.
He has
he
full
sees
knowledge. But here's the issue now. Sun's gonna go check. Has to be careful. Pops his regen. Has to be back. But Remix taken down so low. And Rush will pick up the first kill for Korea.
Slow and steady now for Korea. This is not their normal play style, but you can see Sun starting to leverage his late game potential.
We see Moss over toward the side is going to run toe-to-toe with J-Jack. 007 is able to take down the tower. Cherry now rejoins on the Superman. And Abyssal Dragon now available for both teams. It looks like Thailand need to be careful here because Korea are looking to pressure back into the jungle.
And they've got a lot of control around this Abyssal. The only thing missing was that Abyssal Dragon. The second they had full control, it was because Thailand were backing up. Now Thailand are back aggressive because they know Abyssal is up for grabs.
Flying Spear's not going to connect. Cherry just dives in onto Korea. Over toward the side. That's actually going to be the Alice ultimate already used by J-Jack, looking to zone back Thailand.
It's a major ultimate to be used this early on, and it means Korea will have to again reset, again play passive. And I feel every time they do this, Thailand gains significant ground. That gold lead is only 2,000.
Still though, pressure toward this Dragon. Cherry just jumping on top of Hawk. Hawk will be able to push himself back in toward the mid lane. Abyssal Dragon started up once again by Thailand. Really want to try and isolate this objective. J-Jack pops the Alice ultimate. Cherry gets taken down to half health. Is able to escape. Chaser also looking to push back Moss. Still nobody wanting to pull the trigger just yet on a full team fight.
Thailand were ready for that split take the fight and get the Abyssal at the same time. Korea said that we think we can work that out in favor, and as a result, neither team actually felt comfortable, and they both back up. This, though, I do feel favors Korea because even now, they are slowly and steadily gaining control of the map. You can see they're down to the high ground in top lane.
Moss has to be careful. He's got multiple members of Korea pushing on in. Hawk gets taken down to half health, has to back off. Flying Spear connects onto Rush. That's no DPS coming out from Korea. Remix on toward the front line. Sun, though, tanking up the damage, is going to be able to go back up toward that top lane and regen.
Sun is gross. Every single team fight, he drops so low, he presses the button, and well, he resets. His ultimate Steel Focus gives him so much HP, and well, it's given Korea enough control of the map to take this Abyssal Dragon.
And finally, after fighting over this Abyssal Dragon for the last 3 minutes, Korea are able to secure themselves almost a 5,000 gold lead. The only issue here, TJ, is I'm not seeing structures being taken with this advantage.
No, Thailand are actually losing, or Thailand are actually gaining map control at this point. Here's the mid lane push.
Yeah, you see Hawks there, down to half health. Moss has to be careful, has to use his ultimate to get rid of the CC. Still see Hawk looking for that front side. 007 gets taken down by Chaser as he dives into Thailand.
Again, Chaser showing up. He was not here versus Thailand yesterday. He has made his mark on the map, and that's given them such better results already.
And you can see already the invade, the pressure coming out from Korea with this 3-man unit of J-Jack, Hawk, and Rush. Toward the bot side, though, Korea now rotated Sun, try and apply pressure to this lane, try and get that second-tier tower, try and draw Thailand away from the mid half of the map.
And Korea have this, once again, global map pressure. Even if it doesn't gain them structures, this new, slower playstyle will grant them control of the major objectives. If Thailand just want to play safe and sound behind their towers, they'll lose the ability to see what's happening around this dark slip. That's why they need to keep their waves pushed. That's why Cherry's so far forward and potentially vulnerable.
Yeah, Chaser gonna go toe-to-toe with that Superman. Looking to just dive on in. Cherry getting taken down. Look at the rest of Korea. They're looking to shut down the Superman. He's gonna try and bring them on an adventure throughout the map. This is the reason. This is the mobility of the Superman going in between the two towers. But meanwhile, a fight gonna break out. He's gonna sacrifice himself toward the tower. He gets the execution, but that does allow Korea to have the man advantage, and especially if you get rid of that Superman, that is a huge opportunity.
Because that Superman dives to the top tower, they don't get quite as much gold, but the Superman is down for the next few moments. Korea take advantage of this and slowly gain control of the map.
Yeah, Sun having to deal with Remix in this bot lane. Both now have hit level 15. Darkslayer looks to be the priority here for Korea. Still trying to apply pressure toward this top side of the map. The tower will fall. Moss has to back off. This is a bit different for us, TJ. This is a slow style of play from Korea.
Well, it's not fundamentally different because I said Thailand are going to be in trouble, or rather Korea are going to be in trouble if Thailand can successfully take team fights because Thailand are the better team fighting team. Korea have not had to take a full-on team fight. They keep just winning these skirmishes, out-positioning their opponents, and that's what they do in the 10-minute games, even though they're repeating it here on a slower scale. It's the same strategy.
Oh, Remix, he's going for this Abyssal Dragon, has to back off, and Korea will easily pick that one up on top of the Dark Slayer, and now
he's not getting out.
Looking for a fight. Preda just looking to zone back the damage here of Korea. Saw Russian Hawk take a decent chunk there. Korea still positioning themselves. Look up toward the top lane. Cherry looking to apply pressure. Korea want to go for a fight. Memark's actually forced to flicker away there.
So if Thailand are able to max level their characters, they'll get to a point where they're comfortable taking team fights again, and I feel that's where Korea will start to struggle. If Thailand go for these full-on 5-on-5 team fights, Korea are going to start losing them, so they need to crack the high ground now.
Korea looking to go on in. You see the damage coming out from Rush, focusing only the tower. It's going to survive with a third of its health. Thailand just holding on to dear life of their base, but they lose their final outer tier tower. Now it's just a 3-hour remain. 007 gets caught out there. Chaser will find the kill. Memarks has to be off to the side, but Rush, the crit coming on down. And now the tower is going to be the next target.
A quiet game for Korea, but not for their scoreline. This could be the high ground falling.
Moss trying to do what he can to save this, but the high ground is going to fall. And in top and in bot, it's just the core that remains. And Korea, they're able to defeat the undefeatable Superman and take game 2.
Now that is something I haven't seen before. You allow the Superman through the draft. We're all worried about it here on the desk. Korea stay cool, calm, and collected, take their usual playstyle and slow it down by a factor of 10. Say, okay, we'll play characters instead of mid-game activation, we'll look for a late-game activation and slow and steadily maintain control of the map the entire game. I don't think Thailand ever had a gold lead. That meant they were never comfortable taking a full 5-on-5 team fight. Because they never took a full 5-on-5 team fight, their team fight prowess never gave them an advantage.
For me, TJ, this looks like a mirror image of what we saw yesterday. But this time, Thailand are the ones playing too safe against Korea, and Korea are the ones that are able to slowly pick up a gold lead, take this to the later part of the game. We didn't even get to see Sun on the full Tara build. We didn't get to see the monster that he becomes just yet. And the fact they were able to go toe-to-toe with a Superman, I think it's just so impressive.
Yeah, and this scoreline is deceptive. It says 2-6. It was 2-2 right up until that final bait push. That's the other Korean playstyle. They're either over in 10 minutes, or you get this. 2 kills, dead even, but Korea are slowly and steadily working out the map.
Oh, I would like to join a custom game
would
myself.
Too.
I want to get in on this tournament, guys. But let's go ahead, take a quick look at some of the highlights here where Korea, it was a slow game, and even Thailand actually picking up the first couple of kills, but they never got that gold lead.
No, and this was just because Korea, again, they're not playing a dedicated mid laner, and I feel that's freeing them up to control more of the map. We may be observing a major meta shift.
See Korea there, all smiles, feeling confident in Thailand. Now the pressure is starting to seep in. You're down 2 games in the best of 7 to decide who is going to be our World Cup champions. Take a look at your post-game breakdown. Korea lit up on their side all the way down.
16-minute game time.
And Korea wins.
I specifically set out Thailand are more likely to win the late games. That's normally because once you get to a late game, you guarantee that a decisive team fight will basically end it. That's what Thailand like to do. If you're behind, starve out till the late game, stay safe, don't take any crazy risks, win a late game decisive team fight, win the game. Never got to do that. Korea are so good at finding individual pickoffs, and indeed we saw players like Remix trying to make plays, trying to save their team, going to solo the Abyssal. And Korea had enough map control, had enough map knowledge, they were able to shut it down.
All right, so a little bit of a change up here for the side selection. Thailand would actually have it because they have now lost the game. They're opting to go onto red side.
Interesting. I have yet to see quantifiable proof that red side is better, because I do think getting that extra ban first pick, as well as forcing the onus onto your opposition to ban out major OP characters like Superman is very important.
Yeah, for me though, TJ, if you think about it, Korea now doesn't even have to worry about that ban if they're on the red side. They've shown they'd be able to deal with it.
Well, I mean, it's important that Korea are shifted over to that side, but I don't think Korea are going to take much of an advantage with it because they weren't making those dedicated bans anyway.
Exactly. We also saw Rush yet again on the Violet too. If he gets close to those objectives, they let Korea push in. They will easily just melt them down. So now for Thailand, what is the solution to the problem? You've now lost 2 games back-to-back in your grand final. You need to start winning games or else you're going to be forced to the brink of elimination after just game 3.
I hate to say play more defensive because we saw them play awfully defensive last game and it didn't work. But I'm going to attach a very, very long, convoluted statement to that. Play defensive, yes. Play defensive if you're behind, like you were doing. Don't make silly mistakes, don't get picked off consecutively, but also rotate more. Stay as a group when there's pressure coming through onto your side lanes. Have the map control to know, oh look, there's 3 Koreans rotating up to top lane. We need to start worrying about protecting it. Because so many of the kills that happened for Korea last game were the kills where they picked up uncontested individual players.
Well, game 3, pick and ban, now underway. Korea on your blue side, Thailand on the red side, looking to secure themselves some picks here to begin game 3 and try and fight their way back into this grand final series.
This is a best of 7. As a reminder, it's not a BO5, so this game 3 is not an elimination game. And thank God, because it's been a really good set so far, but it does mean that this is going to start running up against the wire for Thailand. They need to change things now.
Korea banning out the Arum. As always, they seem to... It's shown that J-Jack has not been successful on the pick, so they don't want to even allow Thailand the option. Both coaches taking their notes, deciding what they want to try and get rid of here. Thailand, of course, banning out the Omen, actually on red side. We usually see that as a blue side ban.
Yeah, but Thailand are just so sure they don't want Chaser on the Omen, and they're right.
Chaser has been able to show up, especially with his flanks on the Scud in the last week so far during these quarterfinals and semifinals. He's been able to show up on stage. Korea banning out the Grak. Meanwhile, Thailand going to ban out the Zenial.
Again, Korea just don't want to let any major control characters through. That's why you ban Aram and Grak in succession, because they're the characters that excel at winning team fights solely based on pulling people around, pushing people in, and I would argue the Flash also falls into that category.
Now, my issue here is, TJ, for Thailand, they put themselves into a very difficult scenario. You either ban the Superman, but if that's the ban, Korea first pick the Lindis.
You're right, Korea are in a great situation, arguably.
Oh,
Lindis goes out to Korea get Superman.
So Korea and Thailand leaving up the Superman. We did talk that these Eastern teams like to, you know, leave up their, they feel confident.
No, we had this discussion. You said, why am I seeing Superman occasionally?
I know,
right.
I know.
The reason is because they play such good Omens and such good Graks that you can reliably shut down a Superman. Both Omen and Grak are banned. They're out. So Superman theoretically should be impossible to kill unless you're Team Korea and you're able to consistently and steadily pressure them out of the jungle and you have no fear of a Superman.
That secret pickup that most teams would love to have at any scenario. Now Korea are saying we can go toe-to-toe with the Superman. The teamy hover is there. I've liked the shift of playstyle for Hawk especially. This is Korea adapting, saying, you know what, Rush and Sun on the side lane have to be the ones that take all the pressure, take the gold, and exert it into these team fights. The teamy gonna get locked in.
Teamy's so powerful for the team. Thailand making this, or following through on the suggestion I promoted earlier, picking up the Violet specifically to scare Korea over to something they're a little bit less comfortable on.
We saw Rush play it. It's a little bit disgusting, and I feel like if you're going to ban the Lindis, you might as well take the Violet, because that's the next pick for Rush. For Thailand, though, do they feel confident enough? I feel like you almost have to take this Superman now that it's for unless we're going to see...
Korea, this is such good mind games, because they're like, oh, Superman's so important, we're hyping it up here on the desk, and then Korea just shut you down and the Superman never gets anything. Do you pick it again?
I don't know, because I felt like Cherry just wasn't impactful.
No.
Wow. Okay, so Thailand saying we're not even going to pick up the Superman right away. Instead, getting the Chugnar, getting the Violet. Does Korea get Teamy and Superman in this draft?
They should.
And an Alice.
They should.
This is a little bit disgusting. You see the claps, Korea, they're already saying, hey, this is pretty much game.
I don't disagree with them. That's a very, 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 very good draft.
The draft evolves. I just don't understand. We saw it yesterday with Chinese Taipei. Were they able to get a superstar lineup? Korea, they took a page out of that and said, hey guys, we want your pick and ban strategy because it's a little OP, and we're about to get Teamy and Superman.
I've said this before, I'll say it again. Korea have the most mind game focused drafts. They consistently seem to be able to get into their opponents' heads and force them to do weird things. And I think this is an example of it, because Thailand are pushed to a situation after that last game where they feel they have no choice but to play their own picks, no choice but to play their own meta. And when they do that, when they end up in a situation where they're just trying to play their own style, then they don't feel comfortable picking up characters like Teamy, like Superman, that aren't normally played by them because they're banned, because they're so powerful. Well, that may lead them to a devastating defeat here in Game 3.
Game 3, Korea up 2-0 in the best of 7 of the grand final of the World Cup. And they somehow secure Teamy and Superman, and now Alice to top it all off.
I bet they run a mage this time.
I feel like they could now. I feel like now it's the option to go ahead and actually run the mage. Thailand, what do they try and answer with? Do they have something in their pockets they have not shown this entire tournament to try and go toe-to-toe?
You're waiting a bit late. If you have a super secret pocket strat,
yeah, you gotta do it now.
This is the deadline. And they're going for Tara, Scud, Jarknar. This will give them a lot of control. Like we said for Korea, when they opted not to run a mage, they gained a lot of push throughout the entire jungle just because they could constantly pressure it. But I don't know that's the right call here.
So Thailand gonna go ahead, lock in the Scud and the Tara. Korea, you're playing with my heart, son.
I'm not. Last time I got so excited to like talk through the viability of Omen for 3 minutes.
They put on the talent and we were both like, I guess it's happening.
It could very well happen, and if Korea have a composition where they could run something silly like an Omen and make it look super viable, and we've seen them do exactly that before. But they're playing with their heart again. They're going to run a mage. Yes, it's going to be Zill, maybe in jungle, maybe in top lane. Those are my 2 predictions.
Possibility is running the punish, so looking to invade after clearing out the waves for Korea. Locking in the Zill possibly. Taking their time here, a lot of decision making still on the table. Letting this run out, it would seem. They're taking their time, they're taking their patience,
yeah.
Being very patient.
There
we go.
We talked about Korean mind games. Almost every single draft cycle for them, they've let all the way down. Really? Especially the one where they got Superman Alice. They were just like, we're gonna let you stare at this. We're gonna let you watch us lock in 2 of the most powerful characters in the game against you.
For Thailand, the Raz coming out here as the final pick for Thailand here in Game 3. Is that the answer, TJ?
Memarks has run the Raz in the past, specifically into the Grak, because when you are pulled in on the Raz, unlike many other mages, you have the utility and the knockback to survive, to stay safe. Here, I guess you could make an argument that it's a similar situation with how aggressive this composition can play around the Superman, but I don't think it's the best pick. I would have really liked to see them get a little bit more damage because they've got a lot of sustained characters right now. And I think all their damage needs to come from big flanks from Remix and 007.
Well, the stage is going to be set here for Game 3. Fist bumps all around for Thailand, still in high spirits as they try and look to fight their way back into the series here in Game 3. But they have a tall mountain to climb when you give over a Teamy and a Superman to Korea, who have adapted, have shown they can play against Thailand after being swept against them in the winners final, looking for vengeance and looking for their shot at the $200,000 prize.
A World Cup to play for, and Korea have just gotten an exceptionally good draft. Do Thailand have an answer? I guess we'll find out. Remix on the Scud is my player to watch. He's played exceptionally well throughout the evenings. If he can make something happen here, I guess I'm excited for him.
I'm interested to see how Cherry does on the Tara as well. We saw Sun do all right with it. It was able to exert pressure, and that was the key factor with it. Maybe they can use that to try and draw some attention to the side lane. But either way, we're going to go ahead, load on into Game 3 of our grand final. Korea looking to go up 3-0 in the series and look to take Game 4 afterwards to secure the World Cup title. Chaser already going to start off by pushing Moss back, but still no real follow-up at level 1.
By the way, Superman's very good, because what you can do is consistently push people out of position. Consistently, you have more knockback than any other character and more mobility than any other character. Now that Chaser, a very good Superman player, is playing him, watch for him to constantly get behind enemy lines and push them back.
I know the first time that I ever cast with you, TJ, we were talking about Superman. You say you're pretty much forced to not be able to play your character when you're into the 1v1, especially if you don't have any kind of slows or knock-up.
If the Superman gets the cooldown cycles going, just constantly knocking you back, you can get in a situation where you're basically infinitely stunned.
I see Korea, a little bit of a late invade after taking the buff away from Thailand. Going to come on back toward their jungle. Rush looking to farm up, going to be on the slims this time, so going to be looking to help set up plays for Chaser. Either way to the side, going to go ahead and clear this out. We do see J-Jack might have to be careful here. He's getting pinched on in toward the river.
This is too far.
See him getting caught out here. Thailand looking for the kill, but the double stun comes out. 007 though on the Violet. Going to help secure the kill. Kill credit goes on to Moss.
Beautifully done by 007, knowing exactly where it can be to finish off that pick for his team. And Korea, despite a very good draft, are now in a situation where they need to start turning things around because Thailand's early game is so important. Korea need to stay in control of their jungle. They can't take major team fights while doing it, so it's all about individual pickups, stopping Thailand before they feel comfortable grouping up. The fact that Thailand at any point in this game are ahead means they feel comfortable enough to do this, take major objectives, like the Abyssal Dragon, and take team fights should Korea challenge for them.
Well, Abyssal Dragon, we started up here on toward the side of Korea as they are going to go ahead and pick that one out. Memmarks has to be a little bit careful there. Got stunned up. Ends up going back toward Korea. Korea, though, are not able to capitalize. Either way, though, Abyssal Dragon was secured here by Thailand. They got themselves the first blood. This is a 1,000 gold lead to start off Game 3.
Here's the pressure, still aggressive from Thailand.
But they got to be worried about Chaser behind them because look at the play. They're going to go ahead, go directly onto Hawk. Doesn't even have his Being a Bro available, only level 3. Chaser gets caught out and Thailand pick up 2 kills in the Korean jungle.
Thailand maintaining this aggression, and that's what I meant when I said they've gotten out ahead, so now they're comfortable taking fights. The answer for Korea has to be what Sun's doing. Find pressure elsewhere, earn back the gold lead so you can play your trademark playstyle. The problem is Korea can only do that while ahead.
So now 3 kills for Thailand, starting off Game 3 with blood at the 3-minute mark. Already more than what we saw for the first 10 minutes of our second game. Now looking to position themselves. Sun underneath this tower, going to get knocked up. And you can see Thailand, they came here to play. Cherry going for the dive. Here comes J-Jack over toward the side, gets the stun on down. That will keep Sun alive.
Very well played by the Kilgroth of Sun. He's so good playing HP regaining characters. Kilgroth, when he pops his Enraged Spear, that's his second ability, he gets a ton of lifesteal, and because Sun played that so well, he was getting all that lifesteal while also standing directly underneath the tower.
Rush over toward the side, taking a decent chunk of damage here. Chaser, though, still down toward that bot lane, going toe-to-toe, but you can see the pressure coming out from Thailand, going for these objectives, playing for the towers early, trying to get pressure up toward top side, though. You still have a bout going out between Sun and Cherry.
Both these characters can absolutely take in a long-form fight. That's why Kilgroth versus Tara is so consistently a good battle to watch, because both of them regenerate. Both of them can take very, very steady battles around minion wave.
Abyssal Dragon looking to be started up here by Thailand. This will be their second one of the game. So far, so good, it would seem, here in Game 3. Now up 2,500 gold. Moss looking for the invade. J-Jack has to be careful. 007 actually on this Violet has been able to farm up pretty aggressively so far in the game.
Oh,
Chaser caught out on the Superman, and that is the 4th kill going in favor of Thailand.
What do you mean? Superman's not powerful? He's easy to shut down.
It might be a curse, TJ, because both these teams so far not able to find success You see Sun there actually going on back to steal away the buff from Cherry, who looked for the invade. Nice response there by Korea on the top side of the map, but the gold lead is starting to grow more and more, and the pressure's starting to come on through. You see Rush there, taken down to a quarter of his health. Thailand going for the engage. Hawk is being dragged all over the place. Sure, he'll have the resurrection, but he won't have a place to run either way, as now the mid lane tower also falls. Thailand starting to pick up the pace.
2 kills and the first tower of the game. Thailand are starting to look very good here indeed. Korea don't have the control they normally rely on at all.
Let's see this. This would be the second tower of the game, also going in favor of Thailand. Starting to really open up the bot side of the map. Sure, Korea try with Sun to go up toward the top side, trying to invade. But unfortunately, it would just seem that Thailand have the upper hand here.
Thailand reset. They fall back to their own jungle. During this time, normally Korea are spread out, playing aggressive, gaining control in these little tight squads. Korea here are playing all defensive, all in this jungle.
Hawk wants to go on to that backside. Chaser's able to get behind the team, push them back into Korea. But Thailand, they're still very far ahead at this point, and I don't think you want to be shifting all these carries onto J-Jack.
No, I don't think you do either, but it seems to be working when J-Jack's able to hold these towers consistently. I really do like the hissy fits have been so powerful in zoning. Yes, Korea are behind, but there's still those nice little touches that remind you they're a very, very lethal team.
And Mark's going to go ahead, come down towards the bot side of the map. You saw that KDA just a little bit earlier, 7.2 so far during the playoffs. Looking to add a little bit more because the tower's going to fall, and Thailand going to go for the fight. Find 2 members of Korea, and even with the being a bro, that makes it 3 for Thailand.
2 players are resurrected and 2 are sent back to their graves. This high ground tower is going down, and Thailand have the base wide open.
That's a 7-minute high ground tower. This is something we would see Korea, Thailand looking to get themselves back into the series, taking game 3. And TJ, it seems we now have a series on our hands.
It seems we do, Opal. That is the series brought back in favor of Thailand, and I like to see them here on the stage. Yes, last game was good. This game was better. Korea, they get the perfect draft. We didn't see a way they lose.
They were clapping.
No way they lose that game.
If you look at that draft, you look at anything, you'd say that's near impossible. You should not be losing with a Superman, with that teaming, with an Alice.
Look at the goal.
But this is a big thing for me, TJ. You put Rush on a utility support setup. He's not able to carry these fights. In Thailand, they just look to carry forth the game.
Look at the gold. That tells the story of the game for me. Korea always want to be in control. They always want to be in the lead. They weren't. I think that was a perfect game for Thailand.
We'll have to double check. I'll have to see here when I have an opportunity. But now the question becomes, TJ, I didn't think I would say this, but Superman has a 0% win rate in the grand finals.
That is accurate. Surprising. Also, Pura has a 100% win rate in the grand finals. So,
well, in the finals weekend, not this grand finals, but still, the meta is just shifting left and right.
There are statistical oddities around Team Thailand specifically. Both teams feel comfortable shutting down the Superman. And for a character that's been played and banned 100% of the time, we're now in a situation where it is entirely possible that we don't see him again.
That was a perfect game, DJ. In 7 minutes, someone just perfect gamed Korea during the grand final.
After Korea took a 3-0 lead.
I'm speechless here.
So am I a little bit, but I'm still managing to talk because that's my job. And I want to talk through specifically the gold again, because when Thailand had that map control, I really liked the fact that they were consistently pressuring through the jungle. It wasn't just, oh, we have map control, let's group up and take a fight. It was, oh, we have map control, let's pressure into the jungle here, take a few minions, take a little bit of control elsewhere, and you end up in a situation where the Koreans actually aren't comfortable with any position on the map. They have to group up in response, and that cuts down all of their control because they now can't farm.
Well, welcome back to the desk, guys. We're going to go ahead. Seems like the players get themselves a small little breather as we sit 2-1 in series score. Korea with the advantage, but they did just lose a perfect game to Thailand in game 3. And man, now that begs the question, do you even ban Superman? Do you even pick the Superman?
Like I said, we're now in a reality where we could see a Superman not banned or picked, because both teams have run the Superman and found dismal results with it.
It just gets shut down.
Yeah, and it was always because they had complete control of the map and complete control of the entire gold game. So if the Superman doesn't get any farm, and I think that might just be because you're so reliant on the Superman to win those fights, but both Superman games have been really quick.
And speaking about quick, TJ, our quickest game during the entire tournament just took place on stage.
That was the quickest.
7 minutes, 12 seconds. That is the quickest game in the World Cup.
Thailand get the quickest game of the entire World Cup against Korea. Okay, I think Thailand actually had one of the longer average game times. I don't know if
Oh, no, I think
stat.
right now, if I take a look here onto Thailand, they sit around an average game time of 15.5 minutes.
That's pretty long. Korea, by contrast, typically end their games in 10 minutes, give or take. So managing to shift that paradigm is, for me, maybe a story of Superman. Korea want to slow down their play style, take more control of the team fights with the Superman, and they end up in a situation where they're not closing out the jungle, where they're not closing out their map control.
And you saw that during the pick and ban, you know, the mind games of Korea. I make the question, I don't like Rush when he's being put onto the Slims. I feel like it doesn't help them too much. I feel like their attention gets drawn away. They try and focus a side lane, but their win patterns have been through Rush.
So much of Rush that is good, that is spectacular, is when he's playing that Violet and hovering throughout the jungle. We actually highlighted the play during the draft that Thailand made. They picked up the Violet, meaning with the Lindis ban that they'd already made, that Rush had to play something he was a little bit less comfortable on. And I think forcing him over to the Slims puts him in a situation where he needs follow-up. And that's not what the Korean team really does. Rush is the follow-up. When Rush has to find a stun and then wait for his teammates to come through and find the big kills, they don't have that so much.
All right, now you take a sec. Reset, it's now game 4 for Korea.
Yes.
What do you look at here? Because that is, I don't think Korea has ever experienced this. Like, especially you're on the world stage, and this is how you lose. This is how you drop a game during the grand final series.
Exception, they did experience it yesterday versus Thailand.
But it was very long, and it was a slow death. We didn't have the quickest game of the tournament, DJ.
No, we didn't, but I think it is still a case where the same thing is happening. Korea definitely seemed to lose their nerve. I saw Rest on Twitter, I'm going to call him out. He's a player for NA. He said it seemed like they changed shot callers, and I think that's a very good way of describing it. They became very chaotic, and they stopped communicating so well as to who was doing what on the map. The second that happened, Korea never really had a chance to regain their control and that mystic quality that allows them to close out games so successfully. When Thailand do that to them, do they again sit in that situation where maybe just the pressure gets to them?
Well, let's go ahead and take a quick look back at Game 3 to see exactly how this one panned out for Korea and how Thailand got themselves the perfect game.
Remix, a star for me, because Remix was not really showing up in many games. He was one of my highlighted players coming into the series. Here on Scud, he was responsible for a ton of kills.
You saw him going back and forth there, and Remix too. We haven't even seen like his Lubu, because I know Sweet J has talked about that oftentimes, you know, being one of the best Lubu players in the world. They haven't even brought that out yet.
Well, it's a similar character. Scud and Lubu both kind of fulfill that role of not quite a tank, not quite just an assassin character, but you can play in the middle of the team, dive in, find damage, stay alive a little bit too long, and get out.
Well, now for Thailand, they have themselves an opportunity to tie the grand final series. Go ahead and try and force this into a best-of-3 scenario, where now it's going to be the next 2 games that take the series. It's been an interesting one. I'm excited, though. I was, you know what, Korea, they had that interview before, and they said, you know, 4-0, that is our plan.
No longer a 4-0. But I believed them. I was all on board the Korean hype train because of how clever their game plans have been, and I think that was no exception up till that final game where Thailand called their bluff again, said you're playing all these fancy games with the draft to force us off of our meta. What if we just ignore you? What if we just want to play how we want to play, let you get all the fancy picks you like, and still win?
pretty much take the play style that's worked for Korea during the group stage, during the knockout, where they just played what they want. They just go ahead, play their game plan, and then execute it pretty much flawlessly, and we saw that in Game 3.
Well, we did have a brief break when the Thailand players were standing up, using the restroom, that type of thing. They're sitting right back down now, and we're about to get into the draft.
Man, you can see that beautiful trophy, TJ. I know you're a huge fan of that one. It's so gold.
They wheeled out the trophy, and instantly the glare in the stands increased by like 20% because it's so shiny.
Well, I've been seeing them. They've been polishing that one up pretty good. Thailand going to go ahead, reset themselves. Feeling pretty confident now that they have secured a game underneath their belt. Still down 2-1 in the grand final, but now looking to try and tie up this series and keep it going all the way. Korea going to start things off, of course, with the Aran ban.
Aram, a consistent feature of these bans for Korea. They've consistently banned out both Aram and Grak, as well as the Flash coming through. I think the Flash is a flexible one. That's just, oh, we saw that earlier today and it looked deadly, so maybe don't let that through for me, Marks. But I expect Aram and Grak to be consistent because Thailand are so good on these control CC compositions for team fights.
Thailand going to be banning out the Omen. Still interested to see whether or not we're going to have a Superman being picked up here, or if it's even
I think Superman falls through the draft.
You don't even think it'll show up?
I think Superman falls through the draft entirely, which is a sentence that I shouldn't be saying.
Especially when we came here expecting, this would be the do-or-die pick for a lot of these teams. If they were able to secure it, usually it was just, 100% win rate.
Coming into this finals, a 100% win rate.
For Korea, banning out the Grak. Thailand going to be banning out the Zenial. Korea now, what is going to be their final option? Do they want to try and get rid of the Flash like they have in the last couple of drafts? Taking a little bit away from Hawk, but mainly focusing against Myanmar's. They want to try something different.
So you ban out the Zenial for two reasons here. Primarily, very, very good on Sun. It plays perfectly into the Korean split push map control style because you can go on huge, long adventures and then rejoin the team with Angelic Splendor. Secondarily, because you banned out the Omen, and Omen is the best counter in that side lane to Zenial, so you need to ban out both if you ban out one.
All right, here from Korea, banning out the Teamy here on the blue side.
Daring Thailand, what will you do? Superman still up.
Thailand, what is going to be their option? You can see, though, on Korea, a little bit of worry, it would seem, coming out after that last game, and I don't blame them. A lot of focus here during this pick and ban, taking their time, getting set up for Game 4.
They looked borderline jubilant going into that Game 3. Going to Game 4, it is an entirely different team. Thailand would still rather face a Superman than face a Lindis.
Yep, the Lindis going to be banned out here by Thailand. For Korea, do you pick up the Superman or do you try and get Rush the Violet? Because that was what happened in our last game. Rush was forced off the Violet.
Like I said, I think Superman falls through the draft.
We'll have to see here from Korea. Still 30 seconds on to their first pick, taking the time to figure it out. As you've noticed, there's actually two members on the stage. One translator actually for their coach because they come from China here. They've tried to adapt that play style.
Ooh.
Okay, the Flash wasn't banned out, so that is a gutsy first pick.
Okay. Good on Hawk. Korea plays a good Flash. But this does leave an obvious pickup of the Violet. And yes, it will come through.
Okay, I was going to say.
My heart stops.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Like, do you know what you're going to cause in my solo queue?
So Violet and Chugdar getting picked up here by Thailand. Now for Korea, what do they want to try and answer? They've kind of lost off the two primary picks for Rush. Do we see something new maybe coming out?
Well, I think they have an opportunity to pick up a really good side lane that would really benefit their playstyle, which relies so much on side lane control. He's called Superman, and he's still in the draft.
But do you trust it?
I think they're scarred. I don't think they'll do it, no.
After seeing both teams lose on it, it shows that they both have answers. They know where to put the focus. They know how to shut it down. Instead, opting for that Scud, possibly.
Scud would certainly be a powerful pickup, particularly on Chaser, who has looked so good on it. I could also see an Irie coming through here to complement the Scud. I'd like to see them, though, start building for a little bit more HP. Maybe go for what I've described multiple times as a home base composition. You get the Alice here, and then you use that Hissy Fit as a place you can play behind from. Push forward, retreat behind it. Instead,
wow,
Korea go for the Tara.
Tara gonna get locked in once again for Sun. And still no sign of this Superman. Now for Thailand, might as well go ahead. They could look to possibly pick up that Superman if they want. Maybe go for a mage for Myanmar's. You know, what are their options here?
I want to see them pick up a good mage from Myanmar, but you can do it relatively late in the draft because Korea have already first picked a mage. So instead, prioritize your split lane. Yes, get this Kilgroth, and maybe find a little bit more HP to protect 007 on that Valor with.
Kilgroth being covered here by Thailand, still taking their time. Remix had a pretty good showing on it in the last game. Still though, for Korea, have their two side lanes already picked up with That's Good and Tara. Still deciding exactly what they want to go for. Would nice to be picking up a front line here. The Moloch actually hasn't been shown here yet. Instead, opting in for the Arduin.
Yeah, okay. Arduin or Malik both kind of fill the same role. I actually prefer the Malik, but the difference is minor. You play them in the side lane, they have a lot of HP, they fulfill both of the objectives I was setting forward. They match both criteria.
Now for Korea, possibly looking at the Slims once again.
This would be fun. A melee jungle would be interesting because they've hovered two so far, and both of them are melee.
Wow.
Yes, Nakroth coming through. Superman, does he? Yes, he does.
Oh my goodness, we don't have a Superman in our draft during the grand final.
Ha! Mimarks will come out as the mage over on Raz. We said that he likes playing that into control-focused compositions. It's got a little bit more survivability than many mages. I think that's still a viable concern given the dive that can be offered by a flash, as well as the Nakroth.
Now looking here, TJ, what is the overall game plan here for Korea, especially when you're running the Nakroth?
High mobility, pressure all the sides at once, wheel that Alice through to take a major fight, keep a squad going, maybe Flash, Alice, and I would say Chaser if I had to make the call. You can put Rush in there as well, and have that squad pressure side lanes. Pick up individual fights, don't go for full team fights. During that time, your other two players, probably Rush and Sun, are pressing the enemy jungle, using those double punishes to constantly steal smaller camps, constantly gain knowledge of what your opponent is doing. That is Korea's win condition. However, Thailand have shown themselves to be excellent at grouping up early, forcing Korea to take these team fights and, well, winning them dominantly.
Well, we're gonna go ahead, load on in for Game 4 between Korea and Thailand. Thailand looking to tie up the series to 2 games apiece and look to try and extend this best of 7. Meanwhile, though, for Korea, they're looking to answer back after being taken down in a perfect 7-minute game, the shortest game of the entire tournament against Korea with a win. I don't think I would ever say that, TJ.
I didn't expect it either. Here we go. The tie game potentially for Thailand, but they need to start this now, and they need to start by securing an early lead, keeping Korea defensive.
Starting things off, looks like Thailand gonna go ahead, opt in toward the bot side of the map. Gonna go see Rush and Sun. So actually, Korea wanting to play a little bit more defensively, might be looking for the kill though. On to 007. If he can't scale early, he won't be able to do anything, and that's gonna be the kill going on to J-Jack.
I feel like that might have been the mic column. That was really close.
You saw there 007 already falling in Korea. Pick up first blood. Can't be perfect game here in Game 4. A nice start.
Very good for Korea also because it gives them that early lead we've been talking about. Whenever they feel confident roaming and taking isolated fights, that's very important. Watch who gets the killing blow.
Oh!
Totally was.
Yeah, but look again, there's going to be a killing kill, and that one's going to be on Hawk. So now 2 kills here for Korea.
This was the playstyle I was outlining. Group early, find isolated players with that roaming squad while your side lanes continually push and jungle.
Rush gonna go ahead, clear out the Sage Golem. Still 4 members toward the top side of the map for Korea. You got the Alice looking to scout out where 007 is, maybe set up a trap toward that mid lane. Moss gonna roam on over, just trying to clear out, apply a little bit of pressure to help out Myanmar's. 007 gonna show himself in mid lane, and actually the knockup follow on through for Hawk, but he is a Flash. He can get out of there pretty easily.
The thing with Flash, and we've seen it a couple times, is if you overstay your welcome, even for a moment, against a team with control abilities, they can burn you down, particularly if this Violet gets built.
double stun landed there by J-Jack, but Thailand have 4 members around this Abyssal Dragon, so it'll be a nice start here. Sun is over toward the side, could go for the steal. Rush just jumps on in. Korea, though, here comes the knockback, and Thailand answer immediately.
Thailand find the Dragon and 2 kills. Sun and Rush were the 2 players with punish, and they both used them during the dive, but were unable to pick up the Dragon because Thailand instantly focused on killing the invaders.
And for me now, the question is, was that a play Korea had to go for? Because they just kind of gave up the 2 kills they got early, gave up an Abyssal Dragon, also now giving up a lot of pressure toward the bot side of the map because you can see that tower slowly going down, a dive coming on through, and Korea are falling left and right, TJ.
Sun still has pressure forward. Moss is dangerously low, but he's got so many
Sun can't get the kill. You got Hawk flickering on in with the flash. Cyclone comes back on down. They're going to trade 3 for 2 in favor of Thailand.
Memarks very nearly shut down Hawk for his insolence. The super speed is easy to read. If you know where he's set out from, or even you can see the trajectory of his path, you just wait, and even the Cyclone, you know the timing, you can put a power surge right where it ends. Good mechanics, but easy play for Memarks.
Now a 1,500 gold lead to start things off for Thailand. Kills are tied 4-4, but that Abyssal Dragon and the pressure onto that bot lane tower. And that's a little bit dangerous here for Korea because they already can't play safe, it would seem, because Thailand are willing to go for the dives.
Thailand are playing very aggressive specifically to maintain a lead. Right now they have a small gold lead. Oh, yeah, he is, but he's Sun, so he's all right with that. The thing is, though, Korea don't feel comfortable going for full-on team fights. Instead, they're making the right calls. They're still finding pressure for these isolated groups, but it's hard.
Still looking for the picks, but guess what? 007 already knocking on toward this tower. First tower of Game 4 goes in favor of Thailand. Rush looking to rotate back up toward the top side of the map, but you see the pressure from Thailand. Sun is looking to take them on a trip, but he's only level 5 here, TJ.
Yeah, and you can see how that's hurting him because he doesn't have that regen, and he's going to be very easy to punish if it weren't for these slick moves.
Is able to get himself over the wall. Looks like Cherry and 007. They don't even care. You might as well go for the Abyssal Dragon.
Sure, Sun. Be happy with your escape. We've got the Abyssal Dragon. We're building a bank, and it's franchising.
So look at that. Now extending their goal total to 2,100. Before the 5-minute mark, Thailand are the ones playing aggressive. Let's see, up toward the top side of the map, Korea looking to cut out the wave, maybe looking to go for a play onto Remix. But guess what? Down in bot lane, Thailand are looking just to kill Sun. Once again is able to get out of trouble, but there's a minion still left, and they could go ahead, take this second-tier tower. Hawk tries to come on back. He's able to save the tower. Can he get anything else, though? He won't, but the rest of Korea now rotating on over. Rush is down there, wanting to get on top of 007, has nowhere to run, and he will fall as Hawk is able to pick himself up the kill for Korea.
We talked about that ban consistently on the flash. Hawk, for the first time this set, gets him and proves him to be very powerful indeed. He's just got such good positioning around the geometry of the map. He seems to constantly be able to get in, do damage, and slide out in an unexpected direction.
So nice response there from Korea, understanding that Thailand were going a little too aggressive in that bot lane, even though they were almost able to take that second-tier tower. Thailand, though, gonna go ahead, reset, start arming themselves, possibly looking for a top lane here, as you see the Arduin starting to come down the top side lane.
Korea have made this game close again, but they don't win close games. When Korea are in control of a game, it is dominant in their favor, and the fact that it's close means that their playstyle of avoiding these team fights until they can guarantee that victory in them is going to start being hard to execute.
Oh, Memarks going down extremely low, goes for the flicker Cyclone, and Hawk is able to draw him back on in. 007, he's got nowhere to run, is able to get underneath the tower, but meanwhile, Sun was dove in the top lane. Thailand are able to get a tower, and now Cherry rotates on over. Remix is also there. Rush has to try and get himself out of the pit. Should be able to. Starting to get a little bit low. I believe he'll be fine, though.
It's a little bit fun because when you force them to take the fight near the Dark Slayer, you have the chance of that CC saving your life. Just a little fun tactic for staying alive in a tight chase.
Korea going for that invade, looking to back off, but they now have lost their second tower of the game. up on the top side of the map. The only one that's remaining here in mid lane. Starting to get chunked out a little bit low. Just needs one good push, and Thailand can then really open up this map.
Thailand, I think, already kind of have really opened up this map. This is the only tier 1 tower remaining. Hawk is the only person who's been finding these fights for Korea, and he's been doing it largely solo. Yes, he's definitely had Rush running interference, but I think it's important to mention that so many of the other players we look for are not delivering yet.
The big thing for me, TJ, though, is this Abyssal Dragon control coming out from Thailand. That's going to be the third one of the game. Korea trying to answer back, try and catch out. Remix seems to be the plan. Rush and J-Jack going on forward. Sun's also there, and Korea will be able to pick up the kill.
That's what they need to do on Korea. You want to edge your way back into this game, you do so with small kills. Isolated picks on lone players. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, you got an Arduin going on down to that bot lane. Chaser's going to try and stop what he can. Hawk is also there. 3 members of Korea coming on over. They find themselves a kill. Guess what? Thailand, they could get some pressure here on toward that mid lane tower. Sun just waiting in the brush. 007, he's got some reflexes on that Violet.
That was insane.
Rush also coming on over, looking to have some fun. But decides to back off. 007 with the fancy footwork.
That was, I don't want to believe that was reflexes because it makes me feel bad about myself, but very, very quick.
Well, Hawk has to be careful. Actually forced to use the Cyclone defensively, trying to get underneath his tower. Memark's not able to pick up the kill, but the tower will fall. Now Thailand with 4 towers underneath their belt here in Game 4.
Korea are stuck playing a losing game of whack-a-mole here because Thailand are constantly pressuring with just enough players on all of their towers. And it's interesting because this is normally what Korea look like when they're in control of a game, and it may very well lead to a similar game time, but in favor of Valor.
All right, Darkslayer
Chaser has the call.
Going to be started here by Thailand. Chaser knows this is happening. Doesn't have a whole lot he could do. Rush comes on in. He steals away the Darkslayer. 007 will fall. And it is a nightmare here for Thailand.
Korea maybe turned the entire game around with just that. One man dives in. I think it was Hawk to claim it, and it might have saved them the game.
It was actually Rush there securing the Darkslayer, and you know what, when we talk about key players, TJ, that is who we want to look for. The hero moments, and that might be what it takes to get them back into Game 4. J-Jack, though, has to be careful himself because he's got a kill graph right on top of him, and Remix is looking to make some food for himself, picks up the kill.
We said that might be what gets you back into the game. I said so with very, very loose phrasing because you are not back into the game just yet. You still are in a situation where Korea are playing with very few towers and very little map control. They need to use this Slayer buff to take a few towers and a lot of gold.
Now that is the play. If you go ahead, find yourself the picks, that can allow yourself to go ahead, go for these objectives. But meanwhile, Remix was taking apart the Abyssal Dragon. And Thailand, they're able to answer back.
Yeah, Thailand's consistently finding control, what little they can, of the map. However, now this buff has slain, or now that now this buff has ended, in a few moments, Thailand are going to be able to look to gain control again by standard means. They still have a narrow gold lead. They can push for these team fights, and Korea, I don't think, will feel comfortable taking them just yet.
J-Jack gets the stun on down, but Hawk has to back off. There's no follow-up for Korea, it would seem. 007 on this Violet, if he's able to survive these fights, get the damage on down, that is an issue here for Korea. As still Thailand sit 1,000 gold ahead. Remix still pressuring up toward this top side. Rush is going to try and answer, going toe-to-toe, but just looking to harass him, just saying, hey, I'm here.
So the thing is, he's just used both his ult and his secondary ability. Remix has no lifesteal. That was so expertly baited out.
Now Remix forced to have to back off. You do see, though, the rest of Thailand in that mid lane. Meanwhile, the Arduin still applying pressure onto the side lane, trying to catch out maybe Chaser here. Chaser knows what's going on. Minions are going to start crashing in onto that high ground tower. Actually, 4 members of Korea are going to try and come down here to answer. If they're not careful, they decide to back off, stay toward this mid lane after they see Thailand.
This is one of the first melee jungles we've seen in the entire AWC. And that excites me because Rush is no longer hovering in the back lines playing a brilliant Violet. He's instead diving into the front lines, finding isolated players with melee pressure and on Nacroth knockups.
3 Three members of Thailand looking to set a trap, though, toward that mid lane. Cherry them coming through the jungle now, going to spot out J-Jack. Cherry gets stunned up, has my marks over toward the side. Still see Rush and Hawk looking for a possible engage.
Not on Arduin.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't really want to go in onto an Arduin.
Cherry just has so much HP, it's not worth taking the fight because there can be the higher damage members waiting in the wings. And that, of course, is why Thailand have Cherry leading the push. Yes, if Cherry gets caught out, it's not all over.
We'll see Sun there. He's forced to back off. Going to go ahead and regen back, but can't go toe-to-toe with Remix, it would seem. Is Korea going to go ahead, clear out their Might Golem. 12 minutes on the clock. This will be the 5th Abyssal Dragon for Thailand. If they're able to secure it, the Dragon control this series, I got to give it to them, has stepped up.
And it's because whenever Thailand are in control of the game, Korea don't want to take the major fights around the objectives. They don't feel safe taking team fights versus a team that's so good at them like Thailand. I guarantee when their match notes somewhere it says don't take 5-on-5s.
Mark's going to go ahead, try and pressure in through the side lane. Hawk looking to just clear out the minions. 007, got to be careful. Rush jumping all the way back. Cherry able to cut off J-Jack over toward the side. That's going to be the Owl's ultimate coming on down. 007 is overstepped, and he's going to get taken on down by Hawk on the flash.
Beautifully done by Korea to exploit an opportunity, and Cherry may still offer another.
Cherry's still sitting around half health. Meanwhile, up toward the top side, though, you still have Remix pressuring in on Sun. Is able to go for this 1v1 pretty comfortably. That's going to allow Thailand to get some pressure in toward the jungle, steal away the Sage Golem.
Remix will play back, staying safe in the face of so many Korea players. This is a very, very close game.
Cherry going on over toward the wall. Rush is just stealing away the jungle himself. Trying to apply some pressure, trying to split up Thailand, it would seem. Still in mid lane, though. It is a squad of 2 members just keeping up the push. Sun going toe-to-toe on this Tara.
He backs off when he sees the enraged spear. The life still coming through from Remix. That's no longer an interesting fight to take. But the fact that he lasts so long is, of course, just pure Tara. And watch for that build to get even more tanky as we edge towards the late game.
Yeah, you see Moss's health bar right now. Trust me, that Tara is going to have pretty much double that if we get to the late game. We've seen it a couple times coming out from Sun. Over toward the side, though, Korea into the north side of the river. Rush goes in for the engage onto 007, but they don't get the kill. Rush will fall, and that is usually the call when Korea needs to leave. But Sun wants to go for a 4v1, and he's just going to sacrifice himself to Thailand. J-Jack gets the safety underneath the tower.
Beautifully played by Sun to slow down that take, save the rest of Korea only to fall, and that might be enough to ensure that they don't lose many towers at all. Unfortunately, 16 seconds remain on the Dark Slayer, and for Korea, that's a spot of anxiety.
That's going to be Abyssal Dragon resetting for 007, unfortunately, as he has to walk it all the way back to the pit. Wanted to play super effectively, but unfortunately ended up costing himself some time. Thailand looking to pressure in toward the mid lane once again. Minions coming in through top. If they want to go for this play, they can actually knock down this tower pretty effectively because 007 is here.
Korea have all their members back up in a moment, though. This means they can begin to take fights again. The next fight may win the game, though, because this is a Slayer up and both teams with a high ground exposed.
J-Jack gets caught out, brought back toward the team, and Marmark's gonna go ahead, pick up the kill. Thailand, 4 members still around. Meanwhile, though, Remix is just soloing the Dark Slayer, TJ.
He can do this, and I don't think Korea have any idea what is happening right now.
You got the Cyclone in mid lane, but guess what? The Dark Slayer buff is now theirs. And Thailand are gonna feel very comfortable going for this high ground tower after what Korea, we've seen this before, TJ, they have the kill lead, but Thailand have control of the map, they have the gold lead, and they're looking for possibly the core. Sun has to be careful over toward the side. Hawk gets taken down, the flash is no longer there. There's no minions now finally funneling in to mid lane. Rush, though, on the other side of the map is trying to go for the back door.
I don't think he has time, but he can make them very nervous. He can force a recall.
Is he gonna go for it?
Rush might have just saved his team because
Sun is keeping this game alive. Rush is now onto the base, but he doesn't get the high ground tower.
It almost doesn't matter. Oh my God!
Wait.
Oh, he does! With the minions!
But he does fall, TJ, and now it is going to be a 3v5 Once Mimarks rejoins the team, Hawk will be available, but they have to hold on for another 35 seconds before Rush is available. Thailand starting to come in on toward the base. The minions are there. The knockup is down. Chaser can't do anything. Sun into the back line, but that's not what you need to do. Hawk in the middle of all three members. They're just delaying the inevitable because minions in top lane, and that's going to be a tied series, 2-2.
Beautifully done by Thailand. Our grand final is now a tie game.
3 more games to help decide who is going to be our World Cup champions. Now, Korea, after they took the 2-0 lead in the series, have fallen in game 3 and 4. Thailand coming back with vengeance, TJ.
It's basically a BO3 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have a BO3 Grand Final on our hands. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Grand Final of the Arena of Valor World Cup.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the stats. Sure, Korea had the kill count advantage for the majority of the game, but Thailand, they had the map control. They had the Abyssal Dragon control. That's one of the biggest things for me, is Korea haven't been able to really get an Abyssal Dragon without Thailand making a huge mistake.
Thailand never faltered in their gold lead, and you can consistently see how that forces Korea to play slow. Honestly, that should have been a very, very easy win for Thailand, and the only reason Korea managed to make it that close was due to the fact that they stole that Dark Slam.
Yeah, on top of that, though, Sun was trying to do his best to stall out that push. Unfortunately for Rush,
playing beautifully.
He couldn't go for the high ground tower. He got it in the end, but unfortunately Mimarks was able to find the kill. That big thing for me, though, was Korea. They would find fights where they were able to take down 007, but if they weren't, he was able to carry the fights.
Did you catch that? It was a tiny little moment at the very end of the final push. Mimarks goes in with Cyclone. It's devastating. He catches 3 players, and Thailand's saying, no biggie. Use the Chaos Protection. Everyone is CC immune. Nobody gets pulled in, and all of a sudden, Mimarks is standing in the middle of some very angry elephants.
And it feels like for Korea, the plans that they had are starting to fall apart, it would seem. Sure, you were able to look back on the VODs, but now Thailand has adjusted their playstyle. Now they're the ones playing aggressive, playing tower focus, a little bit more of what we expected Korea to play like early on in the tournament.
It's interesting. If this is BO3 Grand Final, Korea win 2-0.
So,
well, they would have.
They would have, yeah.
So the extra time that this BO7 has given Thailand has allowed them to adapt and change up their playstyle. They're consciously responding to Korean pressure and knowing that the #1 thing they need to do is maintain gold control.
You saw there for Korea, maybe the pressure's starting to get toward the players. Thailand will have blue side here, it would seem. Korea opting to go onto the red side.
There's a lot of reassurance happening over on that Korean side.
Got to keep your players' morale boosted, you know, right there. It's unfortunate. You're playing on the world stage. Hopefully, these guys can pull it on through. Korea now looking at a tied series, 2-2. Got to pull it together if they want to go ahead and claim their spot as our World Cup champions.
Korean team should hopefully be able to get their heads back in this game. See some resetting happening over there. You say it frequently on the desk. It's time to reset, and I think that's true here for Korea. Yes, you almost had it 4-0. You do not get it 4-0, though. So now is the time to say, okay, this is a new series. We're going into a BO3 Grand Finals. This is how Thailand have been playing. What do we theorycraft?
Thailand there, looking pretty calm, it would seem. Most of the players just being casual there. Thumbs up from the coach, saying, you know what, guys, we're coming back in the series. The first 2 games were a mistake. We found what's going wrong here with Korea. Now we can try and exploit it.
I give Cherry a high five every time he passes me in one of these stairways.
It is true.
And I'd like you to know, entire audience, Cherry gives the best high fives. So I feel that's how they've managed to maintain their mental strength here.
Is by just a high five.
Well, I assume also the fact that they have a great team there who clearly are comfortable playing from behind. This is a major part of live esports. You're down on a stage and you have all these people staring at you and your dream is crumbling in front of you. How do you handle that? For Thailand, very, very well. For Korea, well, we'll find out.
We'll have to see here. Thailand could be on our blue side, Korea on the red side as we get set for Game 5's pick and ban. For yourself, TJ, how do you feel right now as far as the game plan here for possibly Korea or Thailand. You know, what is got to change here for Korea? Because now it's 2 games back-to-back that Thailand have been able to bounce back in this series.
I'm seeing some smiles back on the Korean side, and that gives me hope. We've seen Korea in the past demonstrate their ability to adapt, demonstrate their ability to recover from being quote-unquote figured out. So I absolutely think they can do this here.
Korea opting just to ban out the Lindis immediately. This is a bit concerning, TJ, because then again, 007, he can go ahead and pick up the Violet. Rush, he was able to make some decent plays there on the melee, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough.
There's the Slims being banned out. That is curious. Korea banning him, I genuinely don't know. Lindis Slims, that's both marksmen. Lindis at least makes a little bit of sense because he is such a powerful, or because she is such a powerful marksman. Slims is constantly viable as a CC-focused marksman. Definitely something Thailand would like to run on 007. This leaves Violet as the only marksman that's considered viable in meta in this game.
And Teamy going to be the final ban here for Thailand. You got to wonder, maybe for Korea, maybe a mistake there during the ban.
They ran a melee jungle last game, so yes, they ban out the
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's what this does.
No.
Oh, okay, first off, oh no, yes. Second off, I want to talk about what Korea's doing. Because now you have a melee jungle. Korea are comfortable doing this. I've never seen 007. I've never seen 007 play a non-marksman in the jungle.
Oh, and then take out the Rourke if you want to, too.
Yes, that is the one fallback. And with that removed as well, I don't know what Thailand do. However, you saw how quickly that lock-in came in on the Arum. We've said this entire time, we've set it up as you cannot allow Thailand to get the Arum because they'll play so very well on it. Cherry does, and he will. They're so good at using control abilities to set up fights. He'll play it in the split lane and use that uncaged from the Lion Tamer as well as the snare to constantly slow people down, stun them up. Oh, I see you push back from this desk.
Okay, Korea, with the 3 marksman bans, leaves open the Grok, and it's gonna get locked in here for J-Jack.
I want to see Natalia Rourke Grok. Give it to me, Korea. This is where we can have pulls into punish, and that is maybe what you want to do because you forced Thailand to do something very silly indeed.
Possibly here for Thailand, the pick and ban continues to go back and forth, TJ, during this series.
Telenas is viable, not in jungle.
True.
Whenever we've seen in Telenas, it's played in the bottom lane, at least in the West. Maybe Thailand are used to this strat, it's every day. God, TJ, why don't you know? But I've never seen a Telenas run successfully in jungle.
Okay, playing with my heart right now. Because unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be swapped at the last second there. Thailand going to be going ahead, probably locking in the Jugnar and the Scud for their second rotation.
What are they running in jungle? The question remains unanswered for Thailand.
At this point, they don't have to show it yet. They know they're going against Aurora.
It could be that Telenas, and they just had a little reality check where they went, wait, we don't need to pick a jungle yet because we can pick it last. They've already got the role filled.
Maybe they wanted to hear your advice, TJ.
They were waiting for me to tell them it wasn't viable. Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly where Thailand are at. Korea, by contrast, they're still building a great engage composition.
And this from Korea, too. This is a pretty quick pick and ban phase. A lot of the time, they like to run out the clock. These time...
No head games here.
No,
this is serious.
They say, all right, this is what we want to play. This is our plan. Going to pick up the Kilgroth as well as the Malak.
Kilgroth will allow them to penetrate through any CC. There's your answer to what's being run in jungle. Kreknak will have a ton of dive. That drone drop ultimate lets him go into flight mode before diving forward in a burst. That'll be very, very powerful, specifically for killing off squishies in the back line. There aren't a whole lot over in Korea, though.
Okay. Thailand, the Maraud.
Natalia will be the final draft for Korea, I suspect. They can still change it up, but we've seen it play so well with that Grak. Mirad will allow a dive onto the Natalia. Again, focus on the squishies. There's a reason that Korea kept that Natalia till the final pick, because it means that Thailand haven't built a roster to deal with it.
Still, though, could possibly also go onto that Liliana. We saw Hawk play it a couple times.
I would prefer the Natalia.
I feel like you'd like that too, because you get that Wombo combo. It's going to get locked in here for Korea.
this is a grand final because this is an entirely different draft from what I would have expected coming in. You see no marksman allowed in the jungle for Korea. They pick up the Rourke and they ban literally everything else that could be viable. After some soul searching, Thailand settle on a Murad, something that was viable in the jungle for a long time, but certainly hasn't been as of late.
And on top of that, TJ, second game now that the Superman has gone through the entire pick and ban unselected.
The second game in a row. I hadn't even thought about that, but you're right. Superman through the entire pick ban. He wasn't banned, he wasn't picked, and after both teams have no success with him, I guess they decide he's not meta anymore.
Coming to you to your solo queue, no longer Superman bans.
Well, that's not true.
Oh, you don't know. Hey, maybe they're like, you know, Korea and them, they didn't play it. It's fine. We'll just let it through the pick and ban, and then it'll come on over and stomp your solo queue. But still, now you're looking at Game 5. Both teams tied 2-2 in the grand final. We're already seeing more and more surprises come through the pick and ban even now.
Watch Cherry on the Aram. He, for me, is the star of the Thailand show. Should he find major lockdowns, Korea are going to struggle to keep their players alive. Having said that, I favor the Korean draft. With every character except Murad, the Grak will have no trouble punishing and will consistently be able to set things up for major Natalia plays.
Yeah, that combo that we saw them run early on into the tournament was disgusting, but we're going to go ahead, load on in to Game 5 of our grand final. 2-2 the scoreline. Winner here moves in to Game 6 with the ability to close out the series.
Cherry already keeping watch. This is what you want to see from the Aram. J-Jack will probably stay paired with whoever they're focusing on funneling to. Watch for the Natalia in the early game. If they get shut down early, that could be very, very bad indeed for Hawk and the rest of Korea.
I'm interested to see here, though, on this Rourke. Because for Rush, I want to see how he plays this, because he's known for his fast farm. And if he can funnel in that gold onto the Rourke, it can be a bit disgusting.
Yes, if Korea get the Natalia in the mid-game amped up, they're going to be doing gross amounts of damage. If they get Rourke in the mid-game amped up, they're going to be doing gross amounts of damage. As we shift towards late, Natalia will be easier to defend against, and I think the Rourke will kind of peter off in terms of damage. So, you end up in a situation where, again, we're looking for Korea end the game quick.
We got to, looking to go in onto 007, are able to steal away the camp, and also now onto the stage golem. J-Jack is able to land the hook, and 007 jumps right on into the battle, but has to back off immediately. Mimarks going down extremely low. Korea cannot find the kill.
Hawk finding so much damage on that Natalia. The big AoE ball applies as slow as well as damage. So it functions extremely well even in the early game. When I said there was a combo, you were obviously thinking about the ultimate combo with the World Devour. You don't need to do that. You can hook people in, hit them with the slow and big damage burst, and you're doing an equally large amount of damage in the early game.
Still, though, a little too early for the combos just yet. Just now hitting level 4 on the side of both teams. Abyssal Dragon looking to be started up here by Korea. Ooh. Another hook lands, and it's on to Moss. J-Jack, this is why he's disgusting on the pick. First blood to Korea in Game 5.
Beautifully done, and they're pressing forward. You don't need Abyssal now. You need to take away Thailand's
Oh my goodness! 007 gets caught out again. Hawk with the ultimate. God. He gets on back toward the side, but Rush will pick up the kill.
Wonderfully done by Korea, but they're in trouble. Cherry pushes forward.
Rush has to be careful. Here comes the shock, though, in response by Korea. 4 kills now at 2.5 minutes.
Chaser is perfect on the Malik. The shock ultimate comes through. He has a cleave onto 2.
And this is not the start you want from Thailand. And J-Jack, again, we've said this before, it's nasty, the hooks.
The lethal ray there from Hawk as well, knowing exactly what can get over that wall and find major damage. First Abyssal of the game does go to Korea.
And this is scary if you're Thailand. You're now looking at a 3,000 gold lead for Korea at 3 minutes. If they're able to continue up this pressure, this game's going to explode out of control, TJ.
We said, I'm favoring Korea from the draft, and if this draft works for Korea, it's going to be a very, very quick game indeed.
Still looking for the pressure. You have 3 members from Thailand coming on over toward that mid lane. Moss and Mimarks looking to stay as a squad. 007 just looking to farm up so he can come back in toward these fights. Korea, though, already looking to set up pressure. And this is actually, I believe, one of our, I think it's our second pick so far in the AWC. And there's not a good reason really for it because honestly, it has only a 0% win rate.
Oh, here's pressure. Hawk
gets knocked out, and that's going to be the kill. The World Devourer comes on through, but then Natalia was already gone, TJ. The combo isn't there, and Rush is going to be slammed down by Remix.
And you could see another dimension. That's the big AoE ability from the Murad. It applies as slow when you enter or exit. It's a bit like a mini Malik ultimate. There it actually found a kill because Rush, when he tried to leave, get back from the fight, he accidentally crossed the line and was slowed to the point where he couldn't survive.
For that, it is going to be at least a tower here for Korea up and toward the top side of the map. Sun is able to exert pressure with the kill grok down in bot lane, though. We're gonna have to see how this ARM plays out because, again, it's only our first or second time seeing her during the tournament. I think this is the second time it's been actually picked overall. It's usually banned every other time.
Look at the pressure from Korea, or I think lack thereof. The only pressure is coming from Sun on the kill graph. Everyone else for Korea was just playing safe, resetting in their own jungle. It's not what we were asking for. I want Korea to keep the isolated pickups going. Yes, you see an RM isolated bot lane push, because when they can find those pickups, they win games in 7 minutes or less.
We saw J-Jack there looking to come in through the jungle. It seems to be the plan from Korea is instead look for picks, trying to isolate members of Thailand, then look for the objectives afterwards. But still, they got to find the picks to begin things off with. Abyssal Dragon going to be started up here by Thailand. 007 will be able to secure it.
It was dangerous. They had very little control, and indeed members of the Korean team prowling on all sides, but they still managed to get it thanks to good play from 007. And now here comes the push.
See the arm toward the side, just using the AoE to clear out the wave, though the tower does fall to half health. Korea looking for another push, trying to out-rotate Thailand and try and get more map control with these towers.
And this is where not having a ranged marksman starts to bug Korea because they don't have the capacity to burn down those towers on individual pushes. They're going to need to wash up against it multiple times with wave.
You saw it there on the other side of the map. Sun gets taken down by Moss, and now in mid lane, Thailand are also able to pick up the kill onto Hawk. Maybe looking for a little bit more. Gotta be careful though if you're on the side of Rush and J-Jack. J-Jack looking for the hook. Still 4 members looking to come on in. World Devourer is gonna get interrupted. J-Jack is gonna fall. The Murad now into the backside is able to get Rush down to half health, but a nice response here by Thailand.
Korea still has a gold lead, but that will not last as now Thailand can clean out both the opposing jungle and their own. There is a lot of standing gold on the map, and provided you don't let your golems reset, it will be pretty easy to clean up for Thailand.
And this is scary for Korea because you mentioned they need to be playing for the objectives. They need to make stuff happen on the map. But meanwhile, the Scud in top lane is going to be able to pick up the kill on the tower.
So top lane, that tower goes down. Mid lane, there's a lot of pressure again, and so much of it is coming from this Raz. Mimarks, we've questioned it a lot. I posited that it was primarily a defensive pick for Mimarks. What we've seen here is finally some of the aggressive potential of Raz. He's consistently managing to push people back, toss them around, force them out of their comfort zone.
007 clearing out his jungle. Still see the plan for Korea. Grak hiding in the brush, looking for a play. Hook comes out, doesn't find its target.
The thing is, if your entire play revolves around J-Jack landing hooks, and you don't get those hooks, you don't have a whole lot of play left.
Chaser and them rotating on over. Sage Golem going to be brought on back, trying to steal that one away. We'll go on over.
I think 007 still got it.
I think he actually secured that. Sun, though, going toe-to-toe down here in the bot lane. This is a tough matchup for him.
Oh, Rush.
Rush almost gets just obliterated. Thailand, they see the opportunity, and Rush gets taken down by Remix, and they pick up the crack. Meanwhile, though, in the mid lane, Hawk gonna get knocked up, dived underneath the tower. Thailand now up 4 kills and take the gold lead after the tower.
Mimarks, this is brutal. I've yet to see a Raz be this effective, and it's been working outstandingly.
Now for Korea, They used to have a gold lead, they used to have the pressure, but Thailand has been able to pick off members. They're starting to play almost the style that Korea wanted to try and do.
It's more team fight focused. That's what I've really liked from Thailand. They know their strength. It is these team fights, and they're winning so many of them. During the initial promo reel, we saw Korea mention those team fights, and here they're actually managing to convert them.
On top of that is Korea going for these team fights after being chunked a little bit low, because they do get isolated. They get spread out through the jungle, and Thailand see that opportunity. Abyssal Dragon going to be started up here by Thailand. It would require a pretty good steal coming out from Korea. J-Jack, the flicker on over. They go on to Memarks, but he's still pretty healthy at this point.
Chaos protection, perfectly timed from Moss to stop that ultimate and reset the fight. There was no way for Korea to continue pushing.
It feels like for Thailand, they have the answers here. Cherry gonna go toe-to-toe with 3 members of Korea. The hook brings him back underneath the tower, but the rest of Thailand are coming on through, but see the health bars, TJ. It's a trade back and forth, a 1-for-1. Rourke being extremely low. Rush has to back underneath the tower. 007 though, coming on in. Rush is able to avoid the damage.
He somehow knows the spacing of that temporal turbulence and dodges out, stays alive. Here's the minion wave.
Another push coming on through. Hawk looking to clear out the wave, but it won't be enough as 007 is able to pick up the kills.
However, for Korea, they held the tower, and the question is that worth it? I would say no.
Gonna go ahead, clear back in toward his jungle. We're starting to see Korea disassemble, starting not to be able to hold themselves up, it would seem, after a confident start. Thailand are able to strike back here in Game 5. And looking to just reverse this entire series.
Repeatedly, they've managed to guarantee themselves team fights decided by their own initiation. Korea need to start landing more hooks and need to have the map awareness to know that this is happening.
You got the kill, Gross, just north, over toward the side. Sun is coming on over. J-Jack now going to come in for the answer. Thailand are not able to pick up the Dark Slayer. Sun, though, gets taken out toward the side. Knock up onto J-Jack. Now stuck in toward the jungle. Moss will get the kill. And now Thailand have an option. Go for the top tier tower or go for this Dark Slayer.
This is Thailand's game to lose. I want to see some towers, then you reset for the Slayer. Rush will hold.
Rush trying to hold underneath the tower. You see 007 just jumping on in. Hawk uses his ultimate. Moss is still alive. But the second tier tower is going to fall.
Now reset to Slayer. During this time, you've just gotten another kill, another tower, get the Slayer, and you're guaranteed at least 2 more, probably a high ground. This is Thailand's game to lose.
No one around the Dark Slayer for Korea. This is going to be a free take by Thailand. And now looking to put down the pressure onto Korea and start opening up the base.
Remix will be playing safe in the bot lane, content in the knowledge his allies are getting the Slayer, and this Malik pressure from Chaser cannot last long.
Abyssal Dragon just being leashed out here. Korea just staying back. But I don't want to see them turtle so hard that they start looking like other teams that haven't been able to come back after falling down in the deficit. 007.
Korea, brutally, Korea don't specialize in coming back. We've seen them struggle when the games go long. This game is well past its expiration date for Korea. It all comes through to these next few fights. They need to win them decisively.
You see 007 just jumping on in. Towers taken down on the other side of the map, but Thailand are still looking for the play. J-Jack's ultimate is down, almost gets taken out, but the high ground tower is now theirs for the taking. Hawk tries to clear out the wave. You got members just throwing themselves onto the minions, but it might not be enough for Korea. They're able to hold the high ground, but they have to back off.
J-Jack has not been landing his hooks.
Okay, Remix can't be doing this. Rush is able to find the shutdown, get himself some gold.
But the tower does fall. A high ground down at the bottom side of the map for Korea.
So now Korea, their base has been exposed, especially on toward the bot side of the map, where now Thailand can now exert pressure into the top lane or the mid lane. Sure, you're able to try and catch out Cherry, but is that truly worth it? Because look how long they can stall out this fight. Korea are stuck into a choke point. J-Jack's also gonna fall on down. Sure, Sun is able to run away, but that's another 2 kills for Thailand.
You don't stall out Aram. Aram stalls out you. The snare lands. She has infinite lifesteal. There is nothing you can do till it ends, and Thailand arrive to claim their prize. In this case, it looks to be another tower.
Looking for this mid lane tier 2. You have the Scud all the way down in bot lane, looking to try and pressure, just clearing out the jungle as Thailand are now siphoning the gold away from Korea. The standing gold on their side of the map, they can't even get a hold of. Hawk has to be careful. And we're gonna go ahead and have our first pause of our grand final.
I wonder, I don't know who it's from yet, but I do wonder because it has to be tech issues at this point. I'm so in awe of how well Thailand have managed to adapt this.
Yeah, it looks like it is on the side of Korea. It looks like it might be a comms issue, so we're going to go ahead and get that sorted. You want to be able to communicate with your teammates, TJ, especially during those team fights that obviously you're not wanting to take, but Thailand have just been forcing them.
Yeah, I can't quite make out what it is yet. But we have had communications issues earlier today, so totally could be that, and I assume it is. It seems to be resolved as the admins are backing off from the stage.
Yeah, it looks like Korea looking to get themselves back into the game. Thailand still sitting pretty calm over on their side of the stage, though. You can see them just going to go ahead, take a quick drink. Korea, though, still looking a little bit nervous. These are pretty somber faces, as it would seem.
I can see them from here. We're back in the game.
Game 5 back underway, and Thailand are going to be able to take down the second tier tower in mid lane. 007 just over toward the side. Korea looking to try and defend. The pause did not pause the inevitable, it would seem, as Thailand pick up yet another kill. Remix gets taken on down. They are able to trade back the kill, but Rush is almost taken out by 007, is able to get back to safety. We can see the pressure coming yet again from Thailand.
Thailand again are on the brink of claiming this game, but they don't quite have enough. Korea will have 3 members to defend this tower.
But you see, this is Korea's style when they become desperate. They just look to pile on bodies onto the minion wave. But they can't keep on doing it, because guess what? Minions have now started to come through the bot lane. The core is exposed. J-Jack gonna get taken on down as B-Marks is gonna pick up, once again, another kill. Korea clearing out waves left and right, but the towers are slowly falling.
4 members to defend for Korea. Here's the push against the high ground.
007 jumping into the base will back off. Sun trying to just jump on in. You see the game plan, TJ, from Korea. It's just keep throwing yourselves at Thailand until something happens. But it seems it's not working out well.
They did find enough damage there for a moment. Thailand need to reset, but it is going to be only a moment because the next wave is through already.
One wave falls, another one comes on in, and Thailand just rotate on over to that tower, apply a little bit of damage. And the issue now for Korea is they're getting stuck in the base. They're not picking up any jungle gold on their side of the map if they keep turtling like this.
Well, we're nearing the 15-minute mark. This is where the levels are going to start to max out on both sides, and the gold maybe evens out. There famously been some comebacks mounted from games like this. But it's going to take a while. We're going to need to be here till the 20-minute mark before the gold is maxed out on both sides.
So that is the play. It would seem 007 going to go ahead and take back the Abyssal Dragon. The Marks able to dodge away from the hook. Thailand looking to operate on a 2-2-1 push. Apply pressure from every lane with Moss rotating, it would seem. Still J-Jack in the mid lane, look to clear out the minions. 007 just poking in on some of the damage. They have some decent wave clear on the side of Korea. Thailand, they might just go for the play.
Korea need to play this perfectly, and Chaser might be caught out.
Gets a decent amount of damage dealt onto him. Chaser's caught out toward the side. Shock gonna come on down.
Those are big old
try and zone away the side of Thailand. He's gonna have to back off toward his base. Look at Cherry, look at that health bar, how tanky he has become. Sure, Rourke is able to go out toward the top side of the map, clear back the minion wave, but Thailand, they are not stopping.
Yeah, and here's the pressure from the bot lane. Me-Marks, I'm getting PTSD from a certain Thailand game last time, where we saw a key member just dive into an exposed base against Korea. That may happen again.
Look at the push coming on through. Sun is almost taken on down. Has to back off. Hook onto 007. He's able to escape. J-Jack not able to land the World Devourer. The tower will still stand though, TJ, as Korea are able to fight back. 007 though, he takes down Rush.
And there is no answer. Yes, that tower still stands, but by a hair's breadth. Anything would blow it over, and the second it does, Korea have 2 lanes of super minions to contend with.
You see Min-Marks just going for the 1v1 onto Chaser. Shield comes on through. He's going to back off. He has some safety. Look at Sun, though. Has actually snuck his way all the way down to towards the bot.
This is such a Sun thing to do.
It is. He's just trying to exert pressure somewhere on the map. But the issue is, if he's shown anywhere, if anything gets vision of him, they're just gonna make the call and go for the base.
Yeah, the second he fights minions, they know there's a player missing.
And 007 can just walk underneath that tower, like you mentioned.
Tap.
Give it a quick tap and take that one on down. 2 high ground towers are now taken. And like you mentioned, the Dark Slayer is available for Thailand if they want to try and fully close this game out.
I don't know that Korea have the map control to even know. Obviously, they know Dark Slayers.
I think right now they're assuming it's being taken.
Yes, so they're pushing forward, trying to eke something out, but Thailand are fully aware it's all down to this one fight, and I don't think Korea are going for it.
It's only J-Jack that's near, and he can't do anything about this, so Thailand secure once again another Dark Slayer.
That was a deep intake of breath for Korea, because this is not looking in your favor. This next team fight needs to be perfect against a Slayer buff with 1 tower remaining.
And once you lose this game, TJ, you can't lose anymore. You are on the brink of losing in the grand final. Thailand, after going down 2 games, looking to surge on back, take the game lead and take a hold, bring the hammer into game 6 and look to close it out. 007 looking to go underneath the tower. The Arum is just gonna go ahead, try and zone away Korea. Korea, once again, the game plan. Keep throwing yourselves at the minion waves, but you've now lost 2 of these high ground towers. You're gonna have to deal with these side lanes soon.
Yeah, the super minions are just beginning to arrive, and when they do, Thailand will press in from all sides. Here they go.
Looking for the dive underneath. 007 just going to go ahead, clear out the minions. J-Jack not able to land the hook. Cherry just jumping on over toward the side. You see the pressure split across the lanes. 007 underneath. Korea's low. The shock comes on through, but they take down Chaser. World Devourer from J-Jack. But guess what? The minions backdoor with the help of the Scud.
Beautiful! Thailand on every single side, just as Korea begins to turn it around. It's all answered back. Beautifully done. Another backdoor, 2 in as many days from Thailand.
And Korea, they have to be feeling something here, because you just lost once again to someone backdooring the core, TJ.
I have no words. Thailand now have consistently managed to make that strategy work, and the reason that for a moment Korea looked to be winning was the fact that it was a 5v4 in that lane.
And it was a good combo from J-Jack and the rest of the team, but unfortunately, it just wasn't enough, because guess what? You have Remix once again being the hero for his team and closing out the game, and now they go up 3-2 in the grand final.
That World Devourer was the stuff of my dreams. It completely distracted me. He got so many players caught up in it and just was unable to find the full conversion. I do want to highlight, though, J-Jack's gold.
Yeah, J-Jack a little bit lacking there, unfortunately. He was pretty stuck because, honestly, they got that base pressured so early that he couldn't really roam out the entire time after the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, and that definitely did hurt them. Hawk as well, you're looking for him to provide a vast majority of the team's damage. He gets just over 25%. A quarter is not a majority, and that is something that's been hurting them. You saw so many times he went into that Lethal Ray ultimate and was just shut down by a dive, particularly the Raz of Mimark's very, very proficient and knocking him out of his intended state.
See there, Thailand finding the fights in the jungle. Korea tried to hold on as long as possible, but Remix just walks in mid lane with the minions. You can see there, Thailand now 1 win away from being our World Cup champions. And that's almost an identical reaction to I saw from Korea. Not happy here.
1 win away for Thailand from being the best team in the world.
And an 18:51 game time. Thailand keeping up the trend with the long games. Korea, unfortunately, being stuck in their base. I'll give it to them. They were able to keep the gold somewhat close. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah. That gold is very close. So much of that is good pressure from J-Jack and the rest of the team, also funneling it onto key members. Unfortunately, they looked out of that game from moment 1, and it was only a very, very, very good late game hold that made it as close as it was. Korea, your early game needs to work in your favor. You can't lose these early game team fights. You can't be scared because you've lost a gold lead early on. And this, I think, has hurt them quite a bit, because when they get scared, they start making plays without map control. You start seeing a lack of knowledge affecting them.
You saw there, TJ, the Thailand team is jumping in their seats. They understand how close they are to being victors, but meanwhile on Korea,
they do as well. They also
understand what's
understand how
happening.
close Thailand are to being victors, and needless to say, they're much less happy.
And this was a team that was confident coming into this grand final. Now facing possible elimination and losing their shot to being the #1 team in the world. Welcome back to the desk, guys. It's me, Opal, as well as TJ. We're gonna have a quick little break ourselves because now it's Game 6, TJ.
Yeah, it is, for the first time in Arena of Valor history, the AWC final with one game to go, potentially, for Thailand.
But then possibility for Korea still to tie up the series, force a Game 7, and that'd be a way to end off our grand finals. But right now, Thailand are looking really strong.
This next draft, I can't wait for, because Korea, every single draft have tried something weird and new and exciting. Remember, that whole game was predicated on them banning out literally everything ranged, with the theory that there was no way that a melee jungle could work against them. Then the Murad from 007, certainly he obviously wasn't comfortable. He saw a surprising number of those buffs reset, but he still found major damage in the team fights. We saw great use of his AoE. He wasn't bad.
On top of that, too, then you let over the Arum on the side to Thailand. Gives it a lot of control, a lot of isolation, because we saw, especially there was a jungle fight where 3 members of Korea wanted to go after Cherry, but he just stood there, used the ultimate, just said, hey, J-Jack, you're going to be my buddy for the next 3 seconds, and that allowed the rest of his team to come back on over, support him, and then they found the fight.
When you're in the snare, a percentage of the damage dealt to the Arum is dealt to you. So, if you're a 3v1 versus an Arum, and the Arum snares one of your buddies, your default reaction has to be to wait it out. Because if you pound damage into the Arum, you're trading 1-for-1 most likely. Because you also have those beasts, the spectral lands, I think they're called, constantly circling and doing damage. So it's very, very difficult to win out the fight. That's why the Arum's so powerful in a situation like that, where Korea's entire playstyle is predicated around finding those 1vx ganks. They didn't get that. They never got an opportunity to, because the players they isolated were frequently the ones most proficient at dealing with 1vx situations.
And then when you come later on into the game for Korea, game plan there is just keep throwing yourselves at the minion wave. Trying to stall out that game. They tried. Oftentimes. You start to see the kill counter near the end there. Thailand, it just started to surge up more and more because, you know, Korea, that was their game plan. You know, just stall out, try their best. And there was times, you know, where they kind of found a fight or two, but then you leave open the pressure. And every lane was getting pressed on by Thailand. That's what opened up the bot lane and the mid lane tower for that base. And all it took was just waiting for the minions to come on in. And then Remix, well, it just came on over and he said, I'm going to backdoor the core one more time.
There's a French team I'd like to take a shout out to, Vitality. Their initial roster, they were also the French representatives at the non-pro tournament. They're very, very good within Europe at slowing down games. And you'll frequently see them play hyper-aggressive early game, lose, and then just turtle and win anyway. Because they've sat in their base till the 25-minute mark, and they're at a point where they have cleared out the wave for so long, they've just stayed alive, if nothing else, for so long, that they're on equal footing with their opponent.
Well, looks like, guys, the teams are just having quick timeout. Got to restructure themselves, reset, especially for Korea. You saw those faces there. Shell-shocked, it would seem, almost.
I don't know if shell-shocked is the right word. Definitely despairing. Definitely.
They kind of looked lost.
Yes, I would say that that is not the mentality you want to see on any of your players' faces, because this is your most important game now. This is the game where you need to come into it with a plan and with a set strategy, and every time it feels like they made that adaptation. They've said, okay, well, what if we force them off of their preferred jungle? Okay, well, what if we throw the Superman into the mix in the ban? Does that throw them off? Thailand have run with the new stride. They've been able to make it work anyway, and that's played so well.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at some of our highlights so far through the series, TJ, as we get set for Game 6 between Korea and Thailand.
Here's the early game for me. Marks. Him turning around from playing this Praetor in game number 1. Yes, he's doing damage, but he's certainly not in a situation where he's dominating the fights, to what we saw later on when he starts picking up the Raz, diving in, pulling people out. I think that basically defines the entire course of the series. The second Thailand have a little bit more control abilities to play with again, they look like they're playing again.
For me too, TJ, this is a series where we've seen an evolve of this pick and ban phase. We've seen Superman be picked twice, has lost both games, is then not picked or banned at all in the next 2 games. On top of that, you see flexing of your bans from Korea, looking to target just one role, say, you know what, we can maybe go for 007, and even then, you see that face right there. Yeah, that's dire.
Well, the Superman is a curious thing for me, because I still hold by the fact that Superman's really powerful.
It is. But don't not ban it during your solo queue.
But the fact that both Thailand and Korea felt a little bit uncomfortable on it, and the opposing team had an answer built in, led to it not working out for either of them. And now, with the entire tournament on the line, nobody wants to run the risk of picking something out of meta.
Yeah, and you got to have a reminder here. Thailand are 1 game away from securing their championship here at the World Cup. $200,000 and the honor and the respect they will gain from the other teams of being the #1 team in the world at Arena of Valor.
The first AWC champion, the best team in the world, at least until the next international competition. We do have the team sitting back down. If you're wondering, there was a brief break while they reset.
I don't blame him. It's starting to get hot in here. You know, a lot of hot plays being made left and right. I would love to get the fan off one of the Korean players.
Have we seen that? I know
maybe
Sui was
that's
looking
the
for him.
secret. There isn't a fan for Korea.
There are no more fans for Korea, apart from the ones in the audience.
Yeah, and there's still a very lovely audience still joining us here. Either way, we're going to go ahead, hopefully load on into our next pick and ban. Korea will have the blue side to start things off here for Game 6.
The draft in their favor. Theoretically, but their drafts have been so odd, so out of meta so many times.
They've tried so many different things, and it just hasn't panned out here in the last 3 games.
It really does feel like they keep coming up with brilliant strategies, and Thailand just keeps shrugging it off.
Korea have to regroup there. You can see the coach just talking them through. They want to try and refocus themselves and try and force a Game 7. Don't want to go down here in Game 6. After all the preparation they did over the last night, taking the time to refocus the team, and it did show in the first 2 games. It seemed like they did figure out how to beat Thailand. And in Thailand, they adapted. They changed up their style. In Korea, it seems like they've over-prepped for one thing and didn't have anything prepped in case something else were to happen.
Well, Korea have always been a team that seems to excel when they know what their opponents are going to do. We saw them yesterday struggle against Thailand, and that was significant for me because in our prior conversations to them, they clearly thought they were going to play China in the final. So when they got to that upper bracket match and they found out that their opponents weren't who they prepped for, they really struggled. Now coming in here, they blew through Chinese Taipei, their 100% guaranteed opponent again, and then they clearly had set strats, set answers to Thailand in order to take this game, and it worked really well until Thailand adapted. That is what Thailand does. That is what makes them one of the scariest teams in the world, is their ability to constantly and steadily adapt to whatever is thrown at them.
And this was the reason that team came out of the boot camp as the #1 seed. Now looking to go through an entire tournament, once again, not dropping a series. They have dropped a couple games here and there. This team is looking strong. They're showing themselves. And we talk about them during the features saying, hey, don't underestimate us. Honestly, a lot of people did, and they've shown up here through the playoffs.
For Korea, coming into this tournament, they were defined by their tower-focused playstyle, and we've seen flashes of that and flashes of brilliance from that. Games where they've chewed up an entire enemy team without ever really having to take fights. Thailand, by contrast, love to take fights and love to use those fights to gain ground. For me, Korea, how do you play aggressive? How do you gain map control without being forced into these deadly 5v5 fights? Thailand excel at winning.
We're going to go ahead, get into our pick and ban for Game 6 of our grand final. Aram going to be the first ban here from Korea. They understood, can't go all for one role again. We got to ban out this Aram because that's just too much control. There's so much delay available for Thailand. Also getting rid of the Flash.
The Flash, definitely very, very good on Hawk, but equally good opposing them. Memarks plays deadly mages, and Flash is one of them.
You can even see there Thailand smiling, it would seem. I can hear them cracking jokes on stage, TJ. They're relaxed, they're focused, they are ready to take this game.
Last time I heard giggles coming from Thailand, they played Pura and gave it a 100% win rate.
So that's got to be a little bit more concerning for you too.
Very concerning for me and my sanity. But also, yes, maybe a little concerning for Thailand. They have a history of getting overconfident. I don't think they'll try anything objectively silly in a grand final, though.
Thailand planning out the Zenyul. For me, though, Korea, respecting the Raz here, opting to now target Mimarks, it would seem.
I don't disagree. Mimarks was so scary. First pick does come through. It's Korea, and they want the Violet on Rush.
I feel like they've learned their mistake here. They keep letting the Violet on over to Thailand in a couple of these drafts. Now, instead, picking it up for Rush, saying, all right, Rush, we're going to give you the best, but Thailand, they're going to go ahead and pick up that teaming.
Remember in the group stage, for the first time, we were astounded when Korea seemed to bring out target bans. From there, that team has done nothing but adapt to their opponents. Give me one game, Korea, where you just play your own game.
Play your own style. Maybe that's the key that forces this game 7. Chuknar also going to be locked in here for Thailand, so a lot of safety already being thrown in. On top of that, resurrection too for the carries of Thailand when it comes to these fights. And I feel like Korea, they understand that they can't go for the 5v5. I feel like Thailand has just outclassed them.
Thailand is one of, I guess I can say it, I don't need to beat around the bush. Thailand is the best team fight team in the world. And they have defined that over and over here on this stage. If Korea want to beat them, they need to do what they do best, which is map control. Slowly and steadily push Thailand out of their comfort zone.
Korea looking at the Scud and possibly this Alice pickup for their second rotation. It's going to go ahead and get locked in.
Chaser, Hawk, both managed to lock in what they want. I think that's a big pickup for Hawk because that gives them, like we said, a better defensive outlook for Korea. They don't need to go for these fights because a single Hissifit can dissuade a dive.
Thailand, though, what do they want to try and pick up? They want to try and get...
Kilgraf.
Yeah, they might just go for the Maraud again.
I would be surprised because, like we said, 007 did seem a little bit shaky on it at times. He certainly played well on it, but it was not where he has been comfortable previously. The Kilgraf I asked for does come through. The reason you run Kilgraf Jargnar is Alice, and that's been meta recently, and it's very fun to see.
A little bit of change up here, though, from Thailand, opting to get the Crixie for themselves. Remix will get his Kilgraf. Side, though, of Korea, what do they want to try and bring out here? Do you try a new pick? Looking at possibly this Lubu.
They still don't have a mage. We saw them successfully run without a mage once, but I'd like I said, just play your own game. Go back to default, get a good lane clear mage. It would be a Praetor. Liliana also would work.
One of the first times we've seen the Liliana from Hawk in a long time here during the tournament. I think we saw it during group stage in their first series. Haven't seen it for a little bit now. Sun looking at the Tara. It'll be a nice pickup once again. Seems a little bit more all-around team comp, though, for the side of Korea, instead of just only funneling it on to Rush.
Okay, here's how this composition works. Hissifit sets up the fight. Then you can instantly combo through, using that Liliana to find big damage. Rush hovers in the back of the fight, dumping it out. Sun and Chaser they're going to need to be your two front lines, and that, I think, is where this Korea team looks to be at their weakest. During a team fight, they lack the HP to really win it, which means they're going to have to do what they do best. This has to be a disengaged game for Korea, not a high kill one, but a slow and steady one, or a fast and brutal one, entirely focused around map control, entirely focused around objectives.
Well, you saw the fist bumps coming out there from Thailand. They're excited. Coaches possibly shaking hands here for the final time, and the possibility of Thailand taking home that trophy here in Game 6. They are one win away for closing out this tournament and taking the 4-2 over Korea. They have to win this game, though, or else we go all the way, TJ, to a Game 7.
Game 7 would be the best.
Would be the best. But you know, for Thailand, they're feeling confident. They have shown themselves to be quite the powerhouse during this series. After dropping the first 2 games, have fought their way back and now are looking to claim the throne. Korea need to find the answer here to Thailand. They've tried it now for 3 games. They only have this final game left before it is all over. We're gonna go ahead, load on in for Game 6 between Korea and Thailand.
One thing I'd highlight for Thailand, actually let's highlight several. The danger zone for Korea from Thailand, it all for me is Moss and the Crixie. Moss on the teamie has the potential to resurrect any of the characters they're trying to pick up. We saw this to Korea's benefit when Thailand was trying to play a poke game, pick off individuals, it was oftentimes the teamie with the resurrection that shut down their dreams. Will Moss be able to leverage that here?
Well, we're in game. Game 6, Thailand 3-2 over Korea. Gonna go ahead, start things off with an invade onto the bot side of the map. Rush and J-Jack, of course, gonna answer on back. We're gonna see AWC actually on the slims this time around.
Here's the bot lane already. Thailand's playing very aggressive and trying to isolate a player. You can see them really considering the pressure onto that lane. Korea are doing likewise, though.
Yeah, we saw that a couple times actually where Sun was punished quite early into the game, and that really hindered Korea because they couldn't really respond anywhere on the map. It felt like Sun sure was taking attention, but honestly, it felt like the rest of the team wasn't trying to pressure other lanes. You already see Remix feeling pretty confident himself in the matchup. Still 3 members of Thailand coming in through that mid lane. Moss can be on the teamie this time around too.
And I highlighted that teamie as the major character to watch. I also say, if you're looking for what to shut down, what is the weak point of Thailand, watch this Slims. Because it's not the highest damage marksman in the game by a long shot, and if you're able to punish AWC, if you're able to catch him isolated without mobility, you can quite easily find an opening repeatedly for Korea.
Mark's just looking to clear out the minions. J-Jack over toward the side, maybe looking for a play. Moss is just going to run directly in with the flicker on forward. AWC landing the flying spear. J-Jack is isolated. Moss sticks on top of him, and first blood goes to Thailand.
Sun will have the flank. Rush might have the trade. They do. Hawk comes through with the blinding lights.
Hawk is able to trade back a kill. It's a 1-for-1 in the mid lane, but Thailand were able to pick up first blood, find themselves a 500-bit gold lead. You see Sun now trying to go for a 2v1 on the top side of the map. Remix is going to be safe, though.
Sun going for a 2v1 on Tara is pretty basic. That's what he does. Because
I'm about to say, that's like you're lacking. You usually expect a 1v3.
You can build the Tara so defensively and so regeneratively that you can occupy resources. And while you're taking 1v3, even if you lose it slowly, the rest of Korea can be pushing elsewhere. Unfortunately, we've seen a Korea that doesn't take advantage of that time because they don't have the map control necessary.
You see Thailand looking to roam on over. Boss might be caught out. Korea looking to catch him out, and they find 2 members in response after Thailand trying to be a little too aggressive. Cherry's coming on over. He wants to try and focus on to J-Jack, instead opting to just get underneath his tower. And Korea even moving on forward. 007 though will be able to pick up the Sage Golem. Abyssal Dragon though started by Korea.
Korea should be able to pick this up uncontested. That is major. Building an early gold lead is how they feel comfortable, confident, and start winning these early trades.
But you got to make something else happen, TJ. We've seen this before with Korea. We saw it in Game 4, where they were able to find themselves a kill or 2 early, get a small gold lead, get an Abyssal Dragon. Then Thailand, they just shut them down. They found the team fights. Moss going to try and zone away Sun. Sun already regenning quite a lot there, has his ultimate available, so he'll be able to back off underneath the turret just fine.
It's not just about the fights, though, because Sun pushes forward, sees 3 there, he gets that information out, and the rest of Korea can play accordingly. They will have the flank here on this top lane.
Want to go for the flank. J-Jack leading the charge, wants to find the stun, is able to land onto 007. That's the main target. Able to get it down. Rush just needs to finish him off with an auto attack, but he gets stunned. But Hawk will find the kill. Remix just survives.
But that was beautifully played. The push from Sun gets knowledge of 3 people there. They will now get the tower because they instantly had the flank ready to go. Baited out the resurrection ultimate from Moss and punished it hard.
And that is going to be their first tower of the game for Korea. A 1,300 gold lead. They get some pressure toward the top side of the map. Keep the ball rolling. Keep up their momentum, and then they can maybe take this game 6.
Rush, Hawk, and J-Jack will now group towards the mid lane. They want to use Rush's damage, amp him up early so that he can melt them.
See the pressure coming on through. Rush just going through the jungle, even coming on over with J-Jack, who's already started up the Sage Golem. Gonna go ahead, take that one down. 3 members of Korea stealing away the jungle camps. 007 won't have anything to farm. Nice little invade, gives them a little bit extra gold.
And that little bit of extra gold can go a very, very long way, especially on the player it's being focused on, Rush. You can see he's already level 8, leading the field. And that's very important. Get him out ahead, and Korea wins game.
J-Jack over toward the side. Has to be a little bit careful if he gets caught out there. Does have the Hissy Fit available if he wants to try and zone back Thailand. They were looking for a play. The Flying Spear actually did land onto J-Jack. Instead, Remix up toward the top lane, and Korea going to start up the Abyssal Dragon once again.
Here's the spear for the poke. This is good pressure from Thailand. They regain control.
Boss gets taken down. Being a bro is going to be popped, gets him back. But Chaser with the flanks. This is the greatness we've seen, TJ. They pick up the kill, and Chaser survives.
How on earth does he survive? But he does. Korea, though, we're losing members elsewhere on the map. You can see Sun and Chaser both very low. Sun up top. He's got the healing. He'll stay alive for now.
And Korea going to go ahead, pick up their second Abyssal Dragon of the game. Thailand, they try and force two members up toward the top side of the map, but they're not able to get anything. Korea now with a 3,000 gold lead and a second tower now in the bot lane.
Those two towers give them an awful lot more control to redouble their lead. Thailand know what they need to do, and it is gain those little objectives, like the Spirit Sentinel. Keep your gold close, like it is now, so that you can win a major team fight just off the back of your team fighting prowess.
Hawk over towards side, able to land the stun. Rush gets some poke damage himself. Korea, though, want to try and focus this. Wow, Remix. Ooh, little scary there and there.
Fine.
Just
Don't
fine.
worry.
Just fine. That's like the third time he's survived with a sliver of health this game already.
These Hissy Fits have been so nice for Hawk to combo with.
Oh, Hawk gets popped up there. Has to be careful. Is able to get back to safety. The rest of his team. Chaser toward the side. Maybe looking for another flank. TJ still waiting.
Watch the pressure. Rush is building it because he doesn't really even need minions to escort. He can just do damage regardless, especially if he times the tactical fire just when the minion gets in range. Like so, it will be deleted.
All right, this is the game plan for Korea, and they get Moss before he can pop his ultimate. That's the teammate down. That's all the outer tier towers down, and Sun is proxying the wave. Korea, they have stepped
another
up.
tower.
This is what we wanted to see here in Game 6 to try and keep their grand hope alive as Rush guns them down.
Why is Sun so tanky? I don't actually need that question answered. He's just playing his play style, and Korea seem to have finally reset to their own home game.
5,000 gold lead for Korea, 8-1 the kills. They got themselves 3 towers. They've opened up the entire midsection of the map. 007 almost getting caught out here, forced to play a little bit more of a utility. Can't be as much of a carry just as yet. See Korea back toward the top side. Want to apply pressure, looking to steal away the jungle once again, and maybe start grouping toward this Dark Slayer.
I wouldn't agree with this Slayer. Maybe it's quick enough, but it's also a bold race.
They don't have vision of this, TJ. This is Korea making the call. Thailand, they don't know what's going on. And Korea are going to go ahead and sneak away the Dark Slayer. There steals it away. Are you serious, Cherry?
What on earth is that? The worst case scenario. Thailand may very well have just earned their way back into this game and back onto elimination.
J-Jack gets caught out, gets knocked up. Memarks flickers over the wall with the moonfall. How did he steal that, TJ?
Cherry has stolen several major objectives with that energy surge this tournament. He's so good at timing.
Oh no, Korea, is it falling apart? Remix already gonna go ahead.
That gold lead
up the Abyssal Dragon. It's back to 3,000.
Gone. That gold lead is minuscule now, easily fightable. And Korea, you cannot take this team fight, not against Slayer.
Sun goes in. Moss maybe a little too aggressive on the teamie. You do see there, Rush with the ultimate, trying to pick off the kill, not going to be able to find it. So though Korea got to try and recalm themselves. Maybe going a little too fast, make a small mistake, but how do you recover from this?
I really didn't like that Dark Slayer take because they didn't have full vision, and they should have gotten away with it.
Oh, they should have.
But the fact that Thailand were able to get in.
Oh, Remix. He's been hiding in this bush the entire time. Rush is going to be isolated. He survives, though. And Korea still have a fighting chance. Look up toward top lane. The Scud trying to push in the wave.
Chaser keeps the pressure going on the other side of the map, forcing Thailand to stay tethered to their base. The fact that Rush survives means that they're still safe because Rush is who they're focusing on building.
Gonna go ahead, take the Spirit Sentinel for themselves.
Mid lane.
You see Thailand, though, grouped up together, acting as a squad. They understand this is where they have won games, going for these team fights.
Win the team fights, especially as we get towards the late game. Thailand will begin to pressure for them, and Korea don't have a whole lot they can answer that with because now they're pressing against a high ground, and they just need to take and win a team fight.
Sun gonna go toe-to-toe with Remix. Can't do a whole lot at the moment. Just looking to pressure him on back. Mark's looking to clear out the wave in mid lane. You see Korea, though, taking a page out of Thailand. They're looking to group up together. They want to try and catch out one member of Thailand and go for the fight. If anyone checks toward the top side of this jungle, they will be taken out. Instead, Korea opting to go on to Cherry, but he will survive.
Chaos Protection allowing that Chargnar to instantly ditch any amount of control abilities. That's why we've seen so much Chargnar today, because there's a big shift in the meta towards control-ability-focused characters, and Chargnar counters most of them.
Oh, Moss waiting over toward the side. Chaser's going to spot him out. Korea can go ahead, take this second-tier tower in mid lane, go for the fight. You see Sun jumping on in. They take down Minmarks. The Being a Bro will be back up. Korea now have to deal with the team fight. They're able to kite it on back. Remix overstepped. They don't fall, and that is the key component for Korea.
Nobody dies for either team. A completely bloodless yet heart-wrenching team fight.
And you were just on the edge there, TJ. If Thailand loses members there, they could lose a high ground tower.
So Korea still has runway. They still have time because they're only at level 14 through 12. They still have time to get out ahead in their gold using things like this Abyssal Dragon. Make it so that they have a really steady lead going into the fight and they can win it. But that runway is getting shorter and shorter because Thailand, if they get to level 15 as well, when they hit max, they're going to close that gap and win a major team fight and possibly the game.
Korea going forward. J-Jack, that's a dangerous spot to be in. Lays down the hissy fit to disengage. Moss gets stunned, has to back off, uses the flicker. Chaser now over onto the flank, wants to try and catch out Moss. They take down the teamie, TJ. Rush goes ultimate.
Remix needs to defend this lane. Korea are looking for
minions.
the push.
That's going to be the high ground tower. Korea knocking on the door of Thailand, looking for a possible Game 7 in the grand final.
I'm looking at this 15-minute mark. Thailand needs to last at least that long, and I'm not sure they can as Korea go for a second high ground.
See Cherry just looking to clear out the wave. Minmarks also on over, gets stunned up by Hawk, and almost gets taken out. The burn's not going to be enough. But still, Korea now on to the mid lane tower. The second one to fall in the base. It's only one high ground tower remaining. Korea looking for the game, looking to tie up the series.
They just baited out to Being a Pro. Korea, that's one of the massive ultimates they need to do.
3 towers, TJ. And guess what? They get on top of Minmarks. That's going to be the kill. Minions onto the core. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going all the way. If Korea can just finish off this game. Thailand holding on with their dying breath. But guess what? Another minion wave is coming on in. We're going all the way to a Game 3. 7.
7 is like 3, and it is A-OK, because that is an insane final game to reach.
You got me confused there, TJ, by saying best of 3 during the 2 and 2. So it's technically now our final game.
If that makes
it's a best of 1 now. 1 game to decide who is going to be our grand champion of the World Cup.
1 game to decide what is the best Arena of Valor team in the world, and Korea just showed up. I said play your own game style. Don't keep trying to adapt to your opponents. We've seen you do that very well, but it's not working here. Just reset, play what you want, don't worry about the draft, and finally it worked.
14-1 the kill total, TJ. Korea coming out dominating. Now tie up our series. We go down to a Game 7. We go the full distance, TJ. We're into overtime.
We had a whole discussion where I was like, I feel like any series over BO5 is really just getting, repetition. You proved me wrong. Well done. Game 7. And every single game has been won or lost on its own standards.
Saw there Korea able to play the map, find the early lead, turn it into objectives, find the map control, and close out the game before the 15-minute mark. Thailand not looking as good. And you see Korea, there's the happiness, there's the emotion they've been looking for. They're back into the series.
This World Championship will be decided by 1 game.
This entire tournament, the last 2 weeks, TJ, comes down to possibly the next 15 to 20 minutes.
A $500,000 prize purse, as well as the title of World Champion. Could go either way.
And these games have been back and forth. We've seen new combinations come out during the draft. We've seen surprises. And now we get here, TJ. Thailand will have blue side to start off the draft.
What do you do in a draft here? I think we end up in a situation where both teams are just playing exactly what they feel comfortable on and nothing more.
Do you go for the mind games, Korea, or do you stick to what just worked? Try and get Rush onto a Violet, onto the Lindis, to help carry out the games. Because you saw it there, if he's able to get that Violet, the towers just get ripped apart.
There could not be more pressure. You need to take away the Violet. And I think for Thailand, in addition to taking away those key characters, you also want to build yourself a very control-focused composition.
Quick question for you, TJ. If you're Thailand right now, do you take a page out of Korea and try and ban out Rush with the blue side?
No, because you only need to take the Violet. Rush is exceptionally good on Violet and Lindis. Lindis will be banned, presumably, so then the only thing left to do is remove the Violet. I don't think that's that hard. When he's pushed over to the Slims, Rush is good, yes, but he's certainly not the force to be reckoned with. He is on the Violet.
And that is a tough one here for Korea, because it's likely they won't be able to pick up that Violet right away, because Thailand can just opt to take it in the first pick. Sure, you leave up some opportunities, but then you really limit the success that Korea has been able to find during this entire series.
I think you can see it on the stage right now. Deep breaths. Tension could not be higher.
Our series tied 3-3. Game 7.
Game 7.
Pick and bans underway. Thailand on the blue side, Korea on your red side. We start things off, of course, with an Omen ban.
Standard for the meta. Korea should ban out Arum next. Just limit what is so powerful for your opponents. We've seen that consistently. Well, it should have been consistent. One time Korea allowed Arum through. We learned why.
Seeing here on Korea taking their time to discuss this pick and ban for as long as possible. Try and get themselves calm. You sure you were able to win this game 6, but it now comes down to this game 7. And that would be heartbreaking if you come all this way just to fall to second. Sure, you get yourself 100,000, but you want the title. You want the glory of being the best region, the best team at Arena of Valor.
As I said, both these teams deserve infinite accolades. They are the two best Arena of Valor teams in the world, without a doubt. Unfortunately, we can only crown one here today.
Thailand going to be opting to ban out the Zenyo. Korea, of course, banning out the Arum onto the red side. What do they not want to deal with? What has been finding success for Thailand this entire series?
For me, keep an eye over on what Memarks is playing. When he's found the Raz, things have looked insanely good. Raz was removed from his pool last time. It'll be removed here again.
So Korea opting to ban out the Raz once again. Memark's pool is going to be targeted, it would seem. For Thailand, what do they want to try and ban away here? You figure it's got to be the Lindis, unless you're first picking it.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, there's a decent argument to be made for let the Lindis through and then first pick it, then you can play Lindis into Violet. However, this game defies the meta. You do not let Rush get the Violet.
Thailand going to be banning out their final ban of the game. Going to be a teamy here.
Okay, Korea, do you want to play into a Lindis? Or do you want to let Superman through the draft? Does Superman get picked if you let him through a draft?
Oh, obviously it's been going through the entire pick and ban phase here, TJ, the last couple of times. I know it's shocking, but the Superman has seemed to have left the pick and ban. Flash ban?
So
I feel
for me,
yeah.
it's Flash or Lindis. That's what I have to call. They are working it through, but either I think I would favor the flashback. Yes.
It's going to be the flash ban, so now pretty much it's letting Thailand say, all right, what do you want to play? Do you want to play the Violet or you want to play Lindis? Rush will have one of the two options available.
I think Thailand may have just made a grievous error. Of course, the draft is still mostly to come, but even if they first pick Lindis here, they allow the Violet over to Rush, and that Violet has been the star of so many Korean victories. They have no option but to do so. First picking Violet would be worse.
Gotta see here, Thailand taking their time. Decisions to be made, possibly what could impact whether or not they come home first or second in the World Cup.
So they're obligated to pick Lindis because, yes, either way, Rush is going to be in his comfort zone. But more importantly, if he gets the Lindis, he's 8 times as valuable. And they let the Lindis come out. They pick up the Violet as first, and yes, that's important. Yes, that takes it away from Rush, but it does mean now Korea can lock in the Lindis, and they don't need to do so until relatively late in the draft.
Might as well get the safety for Rush, what they like to play around him. The Chugnar being a good option here, being able to prevent the CC from coming on through to Rush so he can carry these fights. For Korea, though, what else do they want to try and pick up here? Do you want to try and get your front line? The Grak is still available, too, if they want to go for picks.
I want an Alice. Yeah, I want Alice Chugnar here, because that's the problem and the solution. The disease and the cure. Alice, of course, is a disease, and you instantly have the ability to cure it with Chugnar. Then Thailand are instantly, they have to pick Kilgroth. Instead, though, they're feeling unsure. They don't want to live in a world where this Lindis is picked up by Thailand purely for the sake of denying it, I guess.
Oh.
They're very unsure here.
Yeah, they don't know exactly what to do. Scud and Alice being the ones. I feel like you want the Chugnar.
Okay, Thailand, if they're feeling crazy, they could pick up Lindis. I don't want to see them do that, though. Instead, they secure the Tara for defense and the Chugnar to get through J-Jack.
For Korea, looking toward this Lindis that's currently sitting at a 71% win rate when it's allowed to be played.
Now, get a mage.
You might as well get your mage. You want to try and pick it away from me, Marks.
They're not going to run Violet Lindis, I hope, in the final game of a grand final. They're going to let that Lindis sit because they have no other options, so prioritize getting a mage right now, prioritize finishing up your other side lane.
For Rush, though, the hover is still there. What does Korea want to opt into? Do you want to try and pick up that mage? Like you mentioned, the Liliana did some decent work for Hawk, was able to land a lot of those stuns when needed, was able to follow up with the team fight when it came from J-Jack.
I like the Kilgroth.
Might be opting to get the Kilgroth early for Sun.
Kilgroth plus mage makes me happy because, especially if it's the Liliana that's a little bit targeted, the Kilgroth, of course, is the counter to Alice.
Rush is going to have his Lindis locked in. Kilgroth going to be followed up here for Korea, for Thailand. What do they want to finish off this composition with? What do they want to take into Game 7 against Korea and Rush's Lindis?
Memarks gets his choice of mage, and I suspect it will be Liliana. But for me, I want to see what Remix is playing. You have, I assume this will be Jugnar over on Moss played in the support role. And we've seen consistently it'll probably be Cherry over on the tankier character, the Tara. At that point, you need something else to play lane. And it will be, ooh yes, Remix playing one of his deadliest characters, the Irie.
The Irie being the hovered here. Preta, other option here for Memarks if they wanted to lock it in.
That would be odd for me. Thailand do play a very good Preta, but I think they should be looking for a little bit more mobility. The thing about Preta is he requires setup, and they don't have a lot of control to give them that opportunity.
I feel like Rush would be happy to go to that mid lane often because he likes to do that with the Lindis, farm up and then go pretty much drive by mid lane and pick up kills. That's pretty much how he operates on this Lindis. For Sun, though, looking to lock in the mage here for Korea, currently hovering over the Liliana.
No, I think that's the right pick. Give yourself a little bit extra dive. And Korea, I favor them coming out of the draft. They get Rush on, I think, his best character. They get Sun with the ability to dive the backline. They get J-Jack on Alice. I see Korea as the world champions.
Still, though, a game to be played. And still Liliana to get locked in for Korea instead. Taking their time during this pick and ban. Coach just trying to calm down the players, say, all right, guys, you know what? We're heading into Game 7. This is it. This is what you've played for this entire season. Now locking in that Liliana, your final pick, your final lock-in for the World Cup.
Months of preparation. 2 weeks of play here, several in the boot camp. We've narrowed it down to 2 teams and 1 more game.
Our final handshake of the World Cup from the coaches as we head in to our final game of our grand final. The composition's locked in, TJ. The story will be told.
There is no way around that. Like I said, I favor Korea out of this draft. However, if Thailand are able to play aggressive right off the bat, gain the gold lead, particularly with the Preta, they're going to be able to farm very well in lane because of his good lane clear. That's what I want to see Thailand do. Get the lane, get the early advantage. Don't let Korea play that separated playstyle where they're constantly picking off your isolated players.
Team set and focus. We're going to be loading on into the game quite shortly. It's been a long tournament so far here from California, here at the TCL Chinese Theater. We are about to crown our first Arena of Valor World Cup champion.
Thailand, for me, if there is a turnaround, it is the fact that so many of their characters here are tanky. So many of their characters can survive a burst of damage, a burst of pressure onto them. That's what Korea, we set them up as looking for. If they do look for that, the Chagnar, the Tara, the Irion Remix, they can all survive that.
We're going to go ahead, get into the game. Only one squad will be able to hoist the trophy, TJ, and take home the glory as our champions. Game 7, 3-3, a perfectly balanced grand finals, as they all should be. We're going to go ahead, get on in. Thailand, Korea, 3-3, one game to decide it.
Already Thailand with pressure, not wanting to allow Korea to control this early game. In Korea, you can't take these early game fights because things have gone badly awry when you do.
See this aggression coming on through. It's going to be Rush unable to secure the buff, so aggression coming out from Thailand already early against the Lindis.
Jarek gets the blue buff, and there's no counter invade instantly from Korea. They're only now starting it with Sun.
Sun going to go ahead, try and start up the Sage Golem. Mid-Marks is over toward the side, so we'll spot this out. Remix also coming on over. Sage Golem going to go in favor. I think Stun is able to get over and steals it away.
That was Mid-Marks using the Plague Bomb to knock the Golem over him, behind him, in an attempt to force Sun away from it. Sun doesn't care, he pushes through, and is somehow able to still pick it up.
Both teams fighting life or death over just buffs, TJ. To start us off, Rush up toward the top side of the map, going to try and hold that lane. Well, Sun had to go for the back, so good to get some gold for himself. Mia-Marks over toward the bot side of the river, looking to clear out the wave. I want to see who's going to go for the early Abyssal Dragon control here.
Korea are keeping this gold game close for now. Both jungles have mostly been cleared out, so the initial exchange, we oftentimes say if you're able to get 3+ buffs, you've won the initial exchange, you're going to win the early game. That hasn't happened. This means this Abyssal Dragon, when it comes up, may decide the course of the game because we put so much emphasis on the early game. Here's the Abyssal.
Even a simple monster camp just being taken away by Mid-Marks could be crucial. Abyssal Dragon going to be started up here by Thailand.
Korean
J-Jack wants to come on down. You have the Lindis, you have the Liliana starting to rotate down the river. That's enough to force them off the Abyssal Dragon to restart it. Chaser on toward the flank on the bot side of the map is able to break open Thailand. They're forced to back off.
This is what I wanted from Korea. I don't want them taking early fights. I don't want them giving up the Abyssal. Force it to reset, back off, gain jungle elsewhere. And I have checked all the boxes for Korea.
J-Jack looking to just pull out the Abyssal Dragon, see what's going on in the pit. Have the Violet of 007 over toward the Michael. I'm just clearing that out now. Making his way over possibly toward one of the mid lanes in mid or bot lane. Still though, Sun clearing out the minions, going toe-to-toe with Remix. We've seen this oftentimes before, but guess what? You have Rush looking for a play here onto the top lane possibly.
Moss will back off from the Abyssal again, resetting it, granting more time. Sun in the top lane, like you say, is just looking to gain pressure, scare the Iron far enough back. They have to play defense with this next major objective fight pops up.
This will be a nice rotation actually, because Rush has actually cleared out his jungle, so he'll end onto this Abyssal Dragon in case a fight were to break out. Hawk has to be careful. Moss going toe-to-toe, instead backing off. J-Jack still sticking around the side. Rush is actually rotated back up toward the top lane. TJ looking for the kill, onto Remix. Remix going to pop the ultimate, gets back to safety.
That may have sacrificed Abyssal Dragon. They know now that the major damage is elsewhere if 007's looking for the pickup.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chaser can't do anything about this. First Abyssal Dragon of Game 7 goes to Thailand.
Rush will get half HP onto the tower if it's any small consolation, but Thailand know that danger is there, so they're pressing mid lane.
Hawk over toward the side, has to be careful. Is able to avoid the damage from the Preta. J-Jack and Rush looking for a play.
Top tower.
Top tower, though, from Sun is going to be cleaned up here. That's going to bring the gold total back to even. Korea are able to strike for the first tower of the game.
A major pickup that brings this game back into reach for Thailand. And they have pressure elsewhere on the map. Here's the push.
Moss trying to go on in there, has to be careful. The rest of the team coming on over. Chaos protection
What's
already
Remix
used.
doing?
Remix has to be careful himself. Cherry underneath the tower at this point. J-Jack gonna land the stun. Doesn't have that much damage though. J-Jack, what's going on?
He didn't know he landed the stun because Cherry was in the bush, and I apologize. It was Cherry that was overextended there, not Remix. Remix still on the top side, battling the kill drop.
Gonna back off here. Still close to seeing our first blood of Game 7. 5 minutes on the clock. No team striking just yet, but it has been close. Memark's backing toward this mid lane. Gonna go ahead, clear out some more, some of these minions. 40 seconds on the next Abyssal Dragon, DJ.
So, to clarify that exchange, you do obviously see your opponent once you apply damage to it. Cherry was in the bush, however, they didn't know that that stun was going to land until it had, which presented limited options for J-Jack, who thought he had much more room to play. When it landed, all of a sudden, he was frighteningly close to a Tara.
Korea looking to position themselves toward this top lane. They got 3 minions. Moss and Memark's coming on over toward the side. Remix is able to clear out the wave, forcing Korea to back off.
Mid lane pressure still coming through. You can see 007 on the Violet has taken that lane roll because he can do so much burst onto Hawk.
Stun is going to land onto Cherry. Rush wanted to come on in, but the AOA zoning coming out from Memarks has been crucial, preventing Korea to going for these fights. And Thailand are going to go for the invade. Meanwhile, up in top lane, though, 2 members of Korea pushing for the second tier tower.
They're going to get it almost uncontested. Rush and Sun, a deadly duo, gaining ground consistently. Thailand are so focused on building up a gold lead, but Korea have reached the Final Four where they no longer care about beauty things such as gold. They just want towers.
They want the towers. That is what they have been prided for. Now Thailand looking for a possible fight. Have to back off though. Abyssal Dragon will be started by 007. They're going to go ahead, secure their second one of the game, taking it once again away from Korea.
Not a nail in any coffin, but a significant gold lead built in favor of Thailand. Should they pick it up?
Side, Hawk gets stunned up there. J-Jack's caught out toward the side. You see the violent damage coming on through, and the final shot will land. First blood of Game 7 goes to Thailand.
This tower is one shot away as well. It'll be picked up easily.
And now Thailand open up the midsection of the map, look for the rotations, because you see Chaser maybe a little bit too overexposed down toward this bot lane. Tower's going to start to be shredded. Chaser's able to avoid the damage, but the dive is there from Cherry. Tower will fall. Korea, they need to try and answer back for something.
But they can't because Remix is occupying the top lane. That split, which has been so powerful for them, is being shut down.
Korea have to find a way to spark the flame once again in their team. They're starting to fall behind. This is what we've seen in the games. If they fall behind, they don't recover. Thailand slowly start to take over the map. Korea looking to make a play, looking for a pick onto Thailand.
J-Jack, Rush, and Hawk all in mid here. This is unusual for Korea. Yes, they want to stay grouped, but they need this pick more than anything. Watch Cherry.
Rush looking for the play. Chaser caught in between. Memark's able to get some damage. 4 members of Thailand in toward this mid lane. Sun having to deal with Remix over toward the side. That's actually going to be Cherry.
Yeah, so Cherry was important to that fight because should he lose, it's all over.
You see Alice ultimate brought down. No one going for the full commit though, TJ. Still 1 kill only. Cherry toward the top lane, wanted to try and push on back. Instead, going to stay up toward the top side.
So what Cherry's just done is entirely changed the dynamic of the game because for the first time, Sun is stifled behind lane. He's not gaining any value from Korea, and that is letting Thailand run rampant over the rest of the map, press further and further forward.
In mid lane, Hawk actually took a decent chunk of damage, had to back off, and Thailand can continue to push into the jungle. Use what Korea is good against their opponents with, then push on back. Moss going to go into the mid lane, clear out the wave. Sun still pressuring up toward the top side. The 2 towers are down in that top side for Thailand. And guess what? They don't care. They're just going to go ahead, pick up their 3rd Abyssal Dragon of Game 7.
The gold lead tilting in their favor, 2,000 now.
Korea want to go ahead and make a play. Sun over behind, going for the flank. Hawk is going to go ahead, flickers on in, lands the stun. They find themselves a kill onto Thailand. Still though, can they pick up anything else? Instead, opting to go in toward the jungle. Do they want to go for this team fight? Rush gets knocked on back, sitting at about half his health. Korea going to go ahead, respect, and back off.
Sun will gain a little bit of pressure on the other side, though. You can see Korea and this tower focus really beginning to pay off.
Gold still pretty close to even, only a 1,400 gold lead. Thailand, though, looking to open that up with Cherry. Caught in between the tower as Rush and Sun is both here. On top of that, J-Jack has joined the party. Korea find an overextended member of Thailand.
Yet again, now watch Thailand. Remix looks to return, but Sun, surely not.
Sun gonna go ahead, start this one off, instead backing off, instead resorting to that top lane, applying pressure.
Hawk will press further forward in the mid lane. J-Jack joining him. Both of them want to gain some control. You can see this Kilgroth completely split from the other map. And I really like to see that from him, continuing to gain control around the Slayer. Remix, though.
Gets caught out there by Rush as he's able to pick up the kill. Now 3 kills in favor of Korea, bring the gold lead ever so slightly back into their favor.
Fun fact, Remix and Rush are tied for MVP.
That's actually
Memark, sorry,
for Thailand and Rush. So the winner here, on top of winning, you know, the World Cup, TJ, also gets the MVP award. Memark, though, speaking of him, he gets taken down by Korea as they find the pick in the river.
The tournament MVP, as well as, of course, the World Cup, decided in this game. Korea want more pressure. They want to gain some jungle, feed it further onto Rush. I said at the beginning of this, his Lindis is terrifying. I fear Thailand and the entire audience here are about to find out why.
You see Korea picking up their 4th tower of the game, and finally their first Abyssal Dragon at 11 minutes. Starting to turn off here. Rush, he hasn't gotten out of control just yet onto the Lindis, has been just farming up a storm, looking for those fights that he's going to be protected during.
A steady gold lead built now for Korea. That's good for them because it allows them to play their style the way they want to. Press everywhere on the map, know that they can gain control because they don't fear getting caught out by anything less than a full team.
Fox in that mid lane has to be careful himself, looking to hide himself in the brush. Korea positioning themselves up toward the top lane. There's still 2 towers they've taken. It's a high ground that is exposed in that top lane for Thailand. So if they're able to find a kill, maybe 2, and with a minion wave, they could crack open this base. Hawk has to be careful. Chase coming on over. Moss is able to step off back.
Watch carefully for these hissy fits. J-Jack has bought Frosty's Revenge. That's an item that applies significant slow, and it may be lethal here as it scares everyone back from this engagement. You don't want to be caught out, fully slowed down inside the middle of that hissy fit.
That's been a big thing for me, TJ, is from Korea. Their flanks from Chaser and Sun during these series have been able to find fights in their favor. Rush now hitting level 15 on the Lindis. Now
Darkslayer becomes a focal point.
Yeah, Darkslayer going to be the main focus here. Thailand have 3 members up toward that top side. The Scud has to be careful there for Chaser. Now have to back off as Sun is now taking the Might Golem on the bot side of the map. Remix, though, able to steal it away.
And that matters a little bit more than it should, frankly, given how close this game is. Look at the gold, people! It's nearly tied.
33 to 35K. Korea with a slight advantage, and we're nearing a point where that won't even matter. Darkslayer will be positioned from Thailand if they want to go for it, it would seem. Korea still opting to play a little bit safer, waiting for a member of Thailand to overextend, it would seem.
Korea in the lead on paper. However, Thailand excel during these late game
Remix gets taken on down. That is the pick Korea have been waiting for, the top side of the map for the last minute.
This may grant them Darkslayer instantly. At the very least, it gives them the attempt. Thailand, do you want to steal or attempt to turtle? Now is the time to make a decision, and it has been made for them.
Korea now with the Darkslayer. Sun brings 2 members of Thailand down to the bot lane. Korea apply the pressure in top lane. Thailand now have to focus on backing off, waiting out the Darkslayer buff.
Play this very carefully indeed, because now for Thailand, they're on the brink of no longer being the best team in the world.
Korea take down their 5th tower of the game. Now open up this gold lead to 4,000. Have the map control in their favor. This is where Korea excels, but this is what we saw yesterday. They weren't able to break high ground towers. Can Thailand hold?
Korea doesn't have the definite advantage until they take these high grounds, and that's why it's so important that they wield Rush onto these towers, get the wave in, let Rush melt the tower, and then win the game. That's the Korean game plan.
AWC over toward the side, has to back off, almost gets stunned up there. Korea looking for a play. Alice ultimate coming on over. Chaser having to back off, gets chunked down low by the Preta. Said backing off. Sun still applying pressure in the side lane. 007 almost gets taken out there. A decent chunk of damage. He's forced to go back to the base.
Sun will take the lead.
Looking forward, Cherry gets caught out toward the side, and Korea are able to find the lone member of Thailand that is overextended, but there's still no minions, still waiting. 38 seconds before Cherry rejoins us.
Thailand need to clear. Wave buff will fade soon.
Alice ultimate coming on down. Sun has to back off. Remix goes into the back of the fight. The high ground tower will keep standing, TJ.
There's the buff gone as well. As soon as the respawn comes through, 20 seconds on Cherry, it's even fight.
But no one's here. The Memarks is able to clear out a little bit of the wave, but the tower's gonna fall, TJ. Korea want to keep on going. High ground will fall. That is an exposed lane now for Thailand.
Just as the buff fades, Korea get what they needed to with it. Korea are now in control of this game. It is their world championship to lose.
Game 7, 3-3. Come down to just one fight here. Korea feeling confident, now have the pressure of the bot lane minions having the super push in toward the base. We saw what Thailand were able to do it back early on in the series, go for the back door. What a way for that to end, TJ, for Korea to somehow pull that off against Thailand.
Well, now they have the opportunity to do the same. Sun will constantly have this pressure in the bottom lane, and it needs to be rebuffed. Thailand constantly need to have somebody dealing with this guy spinning in their base.
Sun just dancing, it would seem, almost on their graves if they were to lose this. Looking to clear out the minion wave on the side of Thailand. Sun keeps up the pressure. Look up toward the top side, though. You have the Scud pushing on in toward the top side of the lane.
15 minutes have passed. We're now at 16 minutes. This means that everyone has now hit or is about to hit max level. Max gold is approaching quickly, too. From there, Thailand have an even chance of winning the game.
Has to be careful. Gets the shield from J-Jack to keep him alive. Minions continue to be cleared out, though, by Thailand.
The towers earned now serve only as insurance. This means Thailand can only lose one fight. Korea can probably lose 2.
This is the issue, though. Cherry is going to have some trouble going toe-to-toe with Sun. He's forced to have to back off. 007, he can come on down. Thailand, it looks like they're going to go ahead, try and make the call. Can they try and catch out Sun? But they can't leave open all this map pressure for Korea that can just go ahead, steal all their camps in the topside jungle.
Thailand are back in this game. They've lasted long enough. We're at 17 minutes now. They're all about to hit max level. It's only Moth still at 14, and he's the support, so that's okay. I hate to say it, but Korea, you may be back up against the wall.
Timer may have expired here for Korea. Still, though, an exposed bot lane, a scarred base for Thailand. Abyssal Dragon back off if either team wants to go for it. Cherry just looking to clear out the minion waves. Korea going to reset. Chaser going to head on back to the base.
We talked about the runway at the end of the last game. Korea are rapidly approaching the end of it, where the lead they've built in terms of gold and level stops to matter, because they can no longer scale. And from here on out, it's Dark Slayers and team fights, and that is all.
Sun clearing out the minions once again, escorting that super minion into the base. Gonna rotate once again to the mid lane. 18 minutes. This game going the distance, much like our series. Game 7, both teams tied 3-3. Winner here is our World Cup champions.
Korea are very spread out right now. If Thailand go for a fight, they may be able to win it just based off their number advantage, but Thailand are playing this so carefully, and I completely understand why. This is why Chaser isn't pressing out to clear this wave.
Doesn't want to show himself.
He reveals himself, things get dangerous for the rest of his teammates.
Cherry's starting to get pretty tanky too on that Tara. Look at this. Gonna have a Dark Slayer rejoining in 50 seconds, TJ. Is that the play here for Korea? Wait for this bot lane to push out and then go for the fight?
That's why they're getting antsy right now. That's why you saw Sun press a little bit further forward. They want to keep Thailand confined to their base and pick up this Darkslayer. Thailand are far too smart a team for that to work on, though. They will press out. This is likely the final moments of this World Championship.
Moss gonna face check there with the brush. Instead, backing off into the side of the lane. 007 also there too. J-Jack, they want to spring a trap. They want to try and catch out a member of Thailand. They understand. They figured Korea's not anywhere else on the map. We obviously assume they're right there. Moss gets caught out down to half health, is forced to back off. Korea taking some damage there from me marks. Sun on the flank. Chaser goes for the dive, and they pick up the kill. Korea now find two members of Thailand. 007 will also fall. This is the push. They are on the steps of glory, TJ. Now the minions starting to come in onto the base, and Korea are looking to cement themselves in history. Thailand throwing bodies at the minion wave. It doesn't matter. Your World Cup champions are Korea.
They are ecstatic, running around that stage furiously. My God, that was the best world final I could have hoped for.
We went all the way to Game 7, TJ. Korea, after finding the first two games, you can see the emotion. The team so happy of their victory. They fought to the very end and were able to bring it back on the brink of defeat.
On the brink of elimination for 2 games in a row.
The amount of pressure they can get to a team at this point is monumental. Teams, though, they understand that was one hell of a series.
No matter which way you look at it, these are the 2 best teams in Arena of Valor history, and that is worth something special.
Gonna go ahead, get the handshakes ready and going here. Korea still processing it, it would seem. A lot of the players ecstatic, even tears. That shows the amount of emotion, how much these players care about this game.
This is the first World Cup champion in the entire world, in the entire history of Arena of Valor. And Korea, well, they've definitely earned it.
See highlight plays from all these players. I know, though, these guys are excited. We're gonna go ahead, throw it down to Matt to say a word with our champions.
TJ Opal, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, live here from Los Angeles, put your hands together, please, for Korea! We could not have asked or dreamt or wished for a better grand final. Before I talk to our champions, ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for their fallen opponents of Thailand, who gave us that incredible game. What a contest. Congratulations to you. J-Jack, let's talk about resilience. You had games in this tournament that were some of the most one-sided ones we'd seen, but you lost to Thailand yesterday. You come out here, you take the first 2 games, walked all over them, and then Thailand come back, as we've seen again and again. How did you feel as a team as Thailand started to take rounds away from you?
경기 하나씩 2대0으로 이기고 있었다가 역전 당했을 때 처음에 2대0 할 때까지만 해도 좀 쉽게 가나 싶었는데 그 이후에 3 경기를 내리시면서 정말 힘들었습니다. 하지만 그때 저희 코치님과 사무실 친구들이 잘 보살펴줘서 끝까지 이길 수 있었던 것 같습니다. So when we were winning 2-0, we thought, oh, is it going to be this easy? And then they started coming back, and we were in a very difficult position. But then our coaches and our staff and management came in and gave us some words of encouragement, and it really boosted up our morale, and that's how we were able to win it towards the end.
Yeah, a round of applause for everybody who helped this team to that amazing performance. How do you feel right now, standing here with this support in front of you?
너무 좋아요. 너무 좋다는 말밖에 할 수가 없을 것 같아요.
It's so good right now. I don't think there's any other words that I can say besides that it feels great.
And JJ, you're captain of your team. What do you want to say to your comrades who helped you win this title?
이거는 제가 처음 한국 대회에서 했을 때 똑같은 말인데 친구들아 고생했다. 다음에 RC도 우승하자.
This is the same thing that I told my friends and comrades when we won in Korea. But guys, you guys worked really hard. You did well. Let's keep going.
We expect to see this Korea team keep going. I really hope we do. If we're going to get more contests like that, we will just keep you one moment more from being the champions. As first, ladies and gentlemen, we have to crown our MVP of the entire Arena of Valor World Cup Series. For that, would you please welcome to the stage Winter Zhao, General Manager of Tencent Games Global Publishing. And our MVP of the entire Arena of Valor World Cup, I am delighted to award the trophy to Rush. Congratulations, Rush, the MVP! But now it's the time to present the team with their trophy. Please welcome the Arena of Valor World Cup to the stage. And as the cup makes its way to the stage, please welcome our special guest, Thompson Yi, the Vice President of Tencent Games TV Studios Group. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you we scoured the world to find the very best. Now there can be no doubt, they are legendary. They are the world champions. They are Korea! They are J-Jack, Chaser, Rush, Hack, and Sun. They are the world champions and they are Korea! Ladies and gentlemen, we really couldn't have asked for a better tournament. Thank you to everyone who's joined us for the Arena of Valor World Cup. Thank you again to the 12 teams who made it to this stage and to everybody who's watched through all of the tournaments that got us to this place, to Tencent, to NGE, and everybody involved in making this incredible series. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing this tournament to you. This has been the Arena of Valor World Cup Finals, and we look forward to the Arena of Valor International Championship for 2018. But before we get there, again, our congratulations to the new World Champions of Korea!